Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight we're talking about the runaway stock market. Do you believe it's going to keep running away? Do you believe that there's going to be record-breaking stock index prices? And that means some of the stocks that people are holding also will be at all-time highs. That means it's going to be good for you. What about the real estate? What about the passive income ideas? We can discuss all of that tonight. And welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. I'm your host, Eric Bird. Stop struggling now, gear. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. And it looks like I have a little camera problem this evening. I can't correct on the fly. This is live. And once again, make sure you share the videos. Why? Because you never know who's looking for information, who's not looking for information, could use this information. And smash the like button, as I've suggested in the opening. And also make sure you be part of this conversation. The chat room is open. Now, first things first, we have a little business to always do, because check the chat room. I've already dropped some things. We have our beachfront Java. That is coffee and premium blended coffee. That is with tea at beachfrontjava.com. Our own Professor Auntie Val and family, they're the ones running it. So we have to show our support as she's a member of the SSN Nation. So go order some coffee. It's getting chilly in certain parts of the country. So therefore, it's a great time to get something that's going to be good for you. And there's over 15 to 20 different varieties of coffee. That's right. If you like cinnamon in your coffee, if you like chocolate in your coffee, there's different varieties and you can go pick. And free shipping in the United States. But you want to know what the best thing is? Use the promo code SSN Lifestyle, all caps. SSN Lifestyle, all caps. You know what happens after your first order? And any additional order for life, you receive a discount. So hear me clearly. After your first order, no discount. But any second order through infinity, discounts for life after you put in that promo code, SSN Lifestyle. Some of you are going, what type of coffee? I have a Keurig, Eric. Okay, she has the Keurig. Some of you are going to say, well, wait a minute. I like whole beans. She has that too, from half-pound bags to 5-pound bags. Some of you go, you know what, Eric? I want special coffee. I like mine drip ground. Well, she has that too. And then some of you say, I love espresso, fine ground coffee. She has that too. Ziploc bags, always fresh. Go over to beachfrontjava.com and show our love for Professor Auntie Val and family. Now, let me see who's in the house tonight first. If you come into the house, please hit that chat room. Yahweh J, an investor. He's here in the house on this SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And I thank you so much being here with that icon next to your name, which means he's a member of the channel, not just a subscriber. So I greatly appreciate it. And he brings his tagline this evening. Hello, SSN Nation. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday to you and the fam. Received notification, saw the trailer, and he did the trifecta. Smash that like button, and we love it. I love it. The trifecta. Thank you so much, Yahweh J, for being in the house this Friday evening. And Byzantine Red, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. I thank you so much for being in the house this evening. He says his tagline, hey, dude, you know what it is. Hey, dude, that's right. We're here. You're here. We're about to make this go down. First of all, let me give some stats in case we have some new people here. 10% of the population, the top 10% of the wealthiest. We'll stick with them. Do you know they own 70% of the wealth? Okay, that's your first problem if you're not part of the top 10%. The remainder has to be eaten by the rest of us, that other 30%, right? But here's the other thing. The top 10% also own 93% of the stock market. Now, do you understand why there's always a runaway stock market? Why it always goes up? Even after it drops, it still rises right back. So let us talk to the man of the hour, Victor Marrero. He's Mr. Worldwide now, so we'll see where his travels go, but he's also an investor in all of these that I'm talking about tonight: real estate investing, passive income ideas, runaway stock market. He's in. And welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream with that icon I greatly appreciate as a member of the channel. And he brings his tagline: hello all, let's do this. That's what we do here. Let's do this. And I'm very, very happy to see you in the house. Victor Marrero, thank you so much once again. And everybody else who's here tonight, make sure you let other people know. On our Instagram, congratulations. I thank everybody for being on our Instagram. Go to Instagram, because under Instagram, we are Stop Struggling Now at Instagram. We reached a milestone, and the milestone is this: 918 followers. That's right. That's all there is. 918 followers. But for whatever reason, whenever we get to this magic number of 918 or 919, we can check a few days later, and all of a sudden it dropped by 4 or 5 followers. So go over there. We're running a live stream on Instagram as well. So I see you, Joel Nolasco. I see you, Period Torres. I see you, Lance One McCain. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I'm not going to even stop with further ado, because what did we do? We're talking about the stock market. What's happening? People don't know. You miss Wednesday night live stream. Then, okay, here's the question I have to ask you. If you knew that over the next 6 months that there's going to be stock buybacks of over $1 trillion, what do you think is going to happen to these stock market indexes for the Dow Jones? In case people don't know, Dow Jones Industrial Market Index. And what about S&P 500? And then what about NASDAQ? All of these major companies, not all, quite a few of these major companies are going to be doing stock buybacks. They're making a commitment over the next 3 years. So over the next 3 years, if somebody says, I'm putting out $300 billion per year amongst a set number of stocks, you should be paying attention to those stocks, plus in an ETF format. An ETF, in case somebody doesn't understand what I'm referring to, if you have like a VOO, for instance. That's right. Bring your pen, pads, and papers here when you come. VOO is a Vanguard total market fund. So you can check out it, whether you want to choose a Dow Jones, not in this case, but you can choose Dow, you can choose S&P 500, you can choose NASDAQ. But VOO goes for a particular stock index. Top 100, total market, you never know. But go check it out, because most people do like 30% year over year, right? 33%, 35%, 38%. So I'll not only give you VOO, I'll even give you VTI, year over year, another one in the 30% from Vanguard Group. Why Vanguard? Because they generally have the cheapest expense ratio, meaning they're not taking your money for giving you money. So check those out if you think the stock market's going to go up. Now, if you say passive income, Eric, that's what I came here for, then I say, okay, I can't blame you for that. Vince Lamone, I see you at Instagram. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys all hit the follow buttons over at Instagram, because once again, we're trying to go over 918, 919, because there's a thing with Instagram. Every time we get that high, all of a sudden they take away 5 to 10 people, and we'll be back down to 914, 912, things like that. So I'm telling you guys, you'll see for yourself. We reached 918. I saw it earlier today. We could be at 919 already. So make sure you follow at Instagram. That'd be greatly appreciated. All right. Also today, we talk about passive income. Here's Victor Marrero. He's talking about passive income ideas. Yield Max, Round Hill, Defiance. Those are all companies that do dividends. And these are high, well, I should put it this way. They give out dividends. Anytime you hear somebody say, we're going to give you 5% a month or 10% a month or 2% or 1% a week, you might have to say, hey, that's high risk, high rewards, or something's wrong. You have to do your own research, ladies and gentlemen. So Victor Morrell starts it off. Reason why he's saying everybody making money with this market doing the salsa dance is because today, under Yield Max, under Roundhill, and Defiance, they started giving people dividends weekly. Oh, yes. I'll even give it to you off the top. YMAG. This is yieldmaxetfs.com, but you can go to any brokerage account. It's Robinhood and Webull. That's what we have down below in our description boxes. So in case you haven't got a brokerage, you can get free shares of stock from Robinhood. If you sign up, they give you 1 free share of stock. Webull, if you sign up, download their app, they can give you up to 15, 20 shares of stock. It all depends on the existing promotion. They always change, but you will have to put in sometimes some money to get your free shares of stock now because they're big time. But nonetheless, both are very, very good apps at the moment. They've upgraded greatly. So Webull is like my favorite because it had more information. Then Robinhood all of a sudden came out with bonuses and stuff like this. If I transfer money over there, if I get one of their debit credit cards, all of a sudden I'm getting bonus money that can be added to my account. It's a beautiful thing. So this competition I like. So down below in the description box, you can download either one. So YMAG, YMAX. That's Yomax ETF. Somebody would say, okay, am I getting 10%, 15%, 20%, 25%? That's what you'll be getting and maybe more. But you got to go over to yieldmaxetfs.com and go look for yourself. Now, you want to hear something else? Roundhill, we can go to WDTE. That's one. Go check that out. You heard me correctly. W, D as in David, T as in Tom, E. Okay, fine. You're saying, damn, all right, I like it. Maybe I'll get a little more. Maybe I'll get dividends weekly from them. How about 0DTE? O0 or ODTE, 0DTE. Check that out, by the way. All right. Now, check out IWMY. Now, all of this I'm giving you is high risk, high rewards, because anytime you get over like 10% to 12 or 13%, you know something's wrong. If somebody tells you 50%, and I don't mean to say wrong, all I'm saying is it's high risk, high rewards. If somebody tells me I'm getting 50% annual of return, I'm thinking, hold on, let me check under the hood here. What are you talking about? Let me go check this out. So please go over to Yieldmax ETFs, check it out. Also, okay, I know I left a lot out, Victor Marrero, but it's okay. We'll get there. All right. We have Defiance. Oh, by the way, how should I not say this? FEPI, F as in Frank, E as in Eric, P as in Paul, I. Go check them out. Then we can just do real estate investment trust. Anytime the Federal Reserve starts reducing interest rates, real estate investment trust, I love. The reason why is because before they can reduce the interest rate to a ridiculous low level like 3.5 or 3.9%, which some people can actually do buy downs at that rate right now at 4%, 4.5 with Pulte Homes. What I'm trying to say is this is the type of thing that you can make money on every month. Dividends. So the standbys, I'll go with low to high. I'm thinking AGNC, A as in Apple, G as in George, N as in Nancy, C as in Charles. The same ones that I've been rocking with for years. PSEC, Prospect Capital, P as in Paul, S as in Sam, E as in Eric, C as in Charles. You might want to check that out because we're talking about 12% to 16% right now is what I'm giving you. All right, go check these out. See if it fits your portfolio, but you'll be getting dividends every month. Is it going to be worth it though? That's up to you to determine because there are factors on how they give these dividends out, but it's real estate investment trust. That means they bought real estate. They're giving out roughly about 90% of all profits go to the people that invest in their stocks. So this is relatively, I'll say, safe for getting dividends. Now, ORC, ARR, NLY, I know that was fast. That's why you need your pen, pads, and papers. You can always hit rewind, right? I'll give them again. ARRORC, N is in Nancy, L is in Larry, Y. Okay, try those. Check that out. And you want to get in creative, inventive, go check out and see if this is going to work for you. High risk, high rewards at 20%. IEP, I is in India, E is in Eric, P is in Paul. That's the Carl Icahn Group, who's actually dabbling in another takeover bid, but I don't know if he's going to add it to the Icahn Group, IEP Group or not, but he's working on something right now. And then there's ARR. A is in Apple, R is in Robert, R is in Robert. Go check all those out. And you'll range from anywhere from like 11% up to 20+% return annually, dividends every month. For most of those I mentioned are coming in every month. Just so you know. All right. Hopefully that helps everybody out. And we'll talk about a little bit more because SCHD, I forgot about that too. That's a Victor Morrell thing. SCHD. Don't forget about that one. Brian P., Mr. Dividend himself is in the house. What can we say? The man says, I'm going to buy 2,000 shares of a certain stock with the YieldMaxETFs.com family. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream with that icon I humbly appreciate. And I want to also bring in his tagline. Hello, Eric. I hope all is well with you. Hello, it is. Hello, SSN family. Smash that like button. That's exactly right. Smash the like button no matter where you're watching this from. Don't get left behind. Hit the heart button. Hit the follow button. Hit the like buttons no matter where you are, and share buttons. Let people know that we're here in the house every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday nights. And sometimes morning and afternoon live streams are coming up. I've only done one afternoon live stream in the last week. But again, I'm planning to ramp it up because we have more to do. If you're into real estate, let's get into we are making money in here. And the reason why he said we are getting paid in here is because he has YMAG. He has YMAX. He has IWMY. And they all have dividends weekly, ladies and gentlemen. So those are some of the best things ever. We got paid today. That's what he's talking about. Hey, Eric, check out your emails. Yes, I've checked out some emails. And quite frankly, it's disheartening. I can't even believe what I'm reading, ladies and gentlemen. There's people out here that did something. This is true, apparently. They checked this out. How does somebody buy a used vehicle? It makes no sense. It's almost like money laundering. But how does somebody buy a used vehicle and has a loan for 27 years? $590 a month for 27 years. And then they're saying some crazy nonsense about 67% APR, which I don't even know if that's even a legal situation. I can't even take this seriously, but it's actually been reported by the news and other people that it's legitimate. They checked it out. And not only this, the vehicle is used and has over 200,000 miles. I'm like, that's not even making sense. So I have to disregard outliers like this because this makes 0%. I mean, 0 cents. Because when you think about it, who would back something where the car is worth less than what you're loaning for, what the paper's worth? This is crazy. Nobody's going to pay this in 27 years. So what do I think in my head? Derivatives. That's all I think. Somebody's trying to help somebody with derivatives is the only way you're going to do something like this, because you can sell the paper. The paper. So in other words, I'll give you a perfect example in case you're new here. A derivative is when I do a loan and then I turn around and go to some other financial institution and say, hey, the life of this loan or the life of this paper is $100,000. How much will you pay me now to buy this paper? And you're going to collect the money. That's a derivative. So somebody's doing derivatives is what I'm saying. And I'm also going to say it's quite shady and all the way around, because this is the only way you're doing this, but I don't know who's going to buy the paper. So it's kind of weird because I don't know why you would do this. But nonetheless, maybe somebody's doing derivatives. So that may be a huge part of this. So that car on paper, the person is going to pay $103,000 for a used BMW vehicle for 27 years at $590 per month. I know I keep repeating it. It still doesn't make it like real. But it's been verified. So I don't get it unless it's for illicit purposes. That's the only reason I can see this happening. All right. George's Charles, the emerging millionaire, has arrived. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live stream. And once again, he brings his tagline this evening. Hey, all, I smell money. I know he does, the emerging millionaire. The reason why he's called that is because we do have a t-shirt, by the way. Get your t-shirts at stopstrugglingnow.com /Stop Struggling Now merchandise. There you go. Or just go to stopstrugglingnow.com. Either way it works. Get to the merch. Get some of these. No fear, no excuses. Emerging millionaire. Those kind of things are all there and more. CEO of My Life. They are nice polyester blend t-shirts. So, of course, it's all good. Now, George's Charles, we haven't talked in a while. Hopefully everything's going well. I know it is. But what about that villa? Did they ever start? What's the progress on the villa? Because if they started, the villa may be done in 4 or 5 months, which would be awesome. Right in time for prime time rentals that hold 10 people. That would be awesome. So let me know. All right, Victor Marrero, he says 7 weekly payers. Here you go. See, look, he beat me to it. You guys are lucky. That's why you have to bring your pen, pads, and papers, because of Victor Marrero's here in the house. 7 weekly payers. Every Friday is pay date. IWMY. And see, I forgot about QQQY. Defiance. YMAG. YMAX. RDTE. That's right. R as in Robert. D as in David. T as in Tom. E as in Eric. QDTE. Q as in Queen. D as in David. T as in Tom. E as in Eric. And I see you, Utan Garcia. I see a few investors in the house. Nolasco, Utan. I see you guys in the house. Thank you so much for being on our Instagram channel. Make sure you guys go follow. Keep going with these stocks. XDTE. That's right. X is in X-ray. D is in David. T is in Tom. E as in Eric again. And then WDTE. W is in Win. D is in David. T is in Tom. E is in Eric. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. All those weekly dividends are coming in every Friday. Are you going to get on board? Use our links down below with Robinhood and Webull. All right. Speaking of emerging millionaire, Jaway J, Victor Marrero, myself, real estate investors, let me know what you guys think, because December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we have our semi-annual SSN Lifestyle Investors Forum. December 2nd, we generally are going to be going to lawyer's office. December 3rd, we're going to be going around to check out the lay of the land, checking out projects where things are placed. So that way you get the lay of the land. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to be going to some banks to see the loan officers, talking with them so you guys would know your exit strategy if you decide to do anything on the island, because that's why you want to find out about banking. USD and peso accounts, they're easy to open, but we get your information down there early. So when you arrive, your account is already set up. You don't have to spend 5 or 6 hours at the bank. You can spend 1 hour at the bank, just giving you an idea. And you don't have any longer wait time. You'll be issued your debit, credit card. When you're there, your money can be placed in the bank. Accounts all handled if you want to do business on the island. We go see lawyers first. So that way, if you want to start a business there, you talk to the lawyers. If you want to get real estate there, you talk to the lawyers. You want to have residency, immigration, anything like that, you talk to the lawyers, and no additional cost. You go to ssnlifestyle.com and go get your tickets. The tickets are $199. It doesn't include airfare. It doesn't include hotel. I suggest if you're going to stay there, stay in Los Corrales area. Why do I say Los Corrales? Because that has been built for tourists. What do I mean? They have bars, they have restaurants, they have nightclubs, they have bars that play music, they have mini marts, they have grocery stores. So all of the things that you want to do is there, plus the beach is less than 5-minute walk away. And some people will be closer than that. But the point is, the prices are generally priced right. $50, $60 a night or less is regular in that area, especially in the month of December. Now, I will say this. When you're searching on Airbnb, especially Airbnb and other short-term platforms you could be, I would suggest you zoom in because they have favoritism on Airbnb. The first time you go there, they show them who they want to promote. If you zoom in, then you'll find other rentals. And sometimes, of course, those other rentals are less than the ones that you were shown before zooming in. So that's my little spiel. We leave from the Los Corrales area on the December 2nd and 3rd, 10 a.m. But you guys will know all that before you arrive. But sign up right now. They're $199 tickets, no airfare, no hotel included. So go over there to ssnlifestyle.com and sign up. Join me. And right now, about 3 or 4 other people will be there. So it's getting to be a nice little crowd. It's going to be good. It's not going to have 20 people or 10, because after 5 or 6 people, after the next 2 or 3 orders, the price goes up to $250. So now your airfare is inexpensive right now, and you can find a place now or later. But either way, get to the island. No credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry for pre-construction projects. Victor Marrero praying for the families that lost everything here in Florida with Hurricane Milton. Yes, I know you're fine, because my other friends I don't know if you're fine actually, because I don't actually know where you really actually live at. Hopefully you're not around Tampa where there was a lot of water damage and tornado damage, hurricane damage, or anything like that. So hopefully you yourself, Victor Morel, and he's right, everybody in Florida, hopefully you could join us tonight, because I know there's like 1 million people without power there. So hopefully you are watching from Florida and you and your family are safe. So thank you so much, Victor Morel, for mentioning that. It is a mess here now, but we're getting back on our feet with the vengeance. That's good to hear, man. I'm glad to hear this, because, man, it's getting crazy right now. 1 week roughly apart, 2 major hurricanes. Okay, the Gulf Coast, the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean rose 1 degree. In case anybody doesn't know how hurricanes work, hurricanes need warm water. That's what they thrive in. So the fact that we're moved up 1% degree up Fahrenheit, that's a problem right now. It could easily move up another 1 degree in the next 5 years. And these hurricanes are only going to get bigger and bigger as the temperature keeps rising. The ocean waters, that is, keeps rising. That's how a hurricane burns. That's how they move. If it's warm, it's roaring. That's why when it starts moving north upside the Atlantic, that's why they fizzle out, because the water starts getting too cold for a hurricane. So just keep these things in mind. Crazy. Exactly, Brian P. George's Charles. Hey, Eric, I was thinking about there could be opportunity to get some houses by the cheap from the storm in Florida. Hey, man, George's Charles, you may be very right about that. There will be homes that are cheap in Florida, but there's a problem. The problem is, after this next billions of dollars worth of damage, some of these insurance companies are going to be filing bankruptcy or going out of business. There is no way anybody has enough money for the damage that has been caused over this last just 14 days. All right. So I don't think it's a very good idea at this point, because you're going to put yourself in a box. What do I mean by the box? The box I'm talking about is, I buy a cheap house, but how much is my insurance going to be? Is it going to be $15,000 per year? Is it going to be $10,000 per year? Is it going to be $7,000 per year? I mean, that's the box. What's my property taxes going to be? Because they don't have state income tax in Florida at the moment. So that means, where are they going to get the additional revenue from to handle emergency services for the state? Just in emergency services. I'm not referring to the normal taxes you have to pay for fire, hospital, schools, police. I'm not even talking about that, parks, I mean, so we're talking property taxes are going to rise and insurance are going to rise. So if you buy a house cheap, it could be $150,000. But the point is, you could be paying $2,000 a month to have insurance and property tax, and you're still going to have the water, sewer, and garbage. You're still going to have the energy costs, which is almost a monopoly for energy there. So it's very, very risky because you don't even know if you'll be able to have insurance down the line. Because after this, they're going to stop accepting any high risk persons to insure in Florida. So again, I think that's high risk myself, very high risk. But my friend reminded me that the insurance is going to be so high that it may not be worth. Oh, I'm on the same page. What do you think? I'm on that page. I was explaining. He's exactly right. That's what's good. It's not only insurance is going to be high. Imagine if you're in a situation where they say we're not going to cover you and you have no insurance, and every year there's going to be at least one, possibly two, possibly three storms that touch Florida, especially since the water is warmed up. Over the course of next year, it's going to be same 1 degree, not additional, but same temperature, and maybe even just a little, it doesn't matter by 0.1, 0.3. But the point is, there's going to be three more. I'll just put it this way. 1, 2, 3 are going to touch Florida Peninsula somewhere every year, I believe. So whether they're going to be a Cat 2, Cat 1, and you're still going to have tropical storms. These insurance companies are not stupid. They're just going to be like, they already left. But now more are going to be like, oh, man, we tried to save you. And the other companies are going, this is why we pulled out. We tried to warn you. And so now who's going to want to cover people in Florida? Or, I mean, this could branch out to a lot of areas. So that's what's going to end up happening. In my opinion, he's exactly right. And what are they going to do about the property taxes? Because now you're going to have to pay for all that damage. I mean, who's going to build up the roads? Who's going to build up the beaches? I understand people are going to go, oh, the federal government, right? Okay. Well, again, the federal government doesn't pay for everything. So just keep all that in mind. So you're going to have to start taxing people. The property taxes is going to have to rise. They're going to add probably another half a point, 0.5, 0.2, whatever, to some sales tax or so. I just can't see any other way. This is dead man walking right now. Remember about it, what was that, 2 years ago? Almost 3 years ago now? When I was saying moving to Florida, going to grandma's house. And funny how things worked out. Sadly, my mother passed away, is why now it kind of had to do a detour. But it's a funny thing. If I was in Florida, I would have had to be going through all this stuff over the last 3 years. 5 major hurricanes in 3 years. So now where we were, nothing would have happened but tornadoes. They damaged the block. But again, can't even insure grandma's house. Couldn't insure it. They weren't going to insure grandma's house. So grandma's house has to go, right? We had to sell it. No way around it. Because I'm like, there's going to be hurricanes coming. This is crazy. You got to do something, right? So again, I would stay away from any Florida real estate at this point. Short-term rentals, cheap properties, I get it. But guess what? Florida is going to have cheap properties from now on. There's going to be hurricanes touching down in some part of the state every year from now on. There's no way around it. All right. That's my belief. In fact, let me go do something right now to get this talk about this. How many hurricanes have hit Florida since 2020? I know it's 5, but I might be wrong because I don't really pay that much attention to it. Okay, 2020 was a record-breaking year for tropical storms and the hurricanes in the Atlantic Ocean. doesn't say how many hit Florida. What year did 2004, 3 hurricanes? Nobody's answering the question. I mean, Google doesn't even answer the question. That's crazy. Cat 5s. I don't want that. Okay. Here you go. It won't tell me nowhere. Just you would think Google would just say, okay, since 2020, 15 showed up. Or 3 or 4 showed up, you would say, right? Okay, well, let's put it a different way. 172 years since records began, there have been 126 hurricanes. Now, keep in mind, there have been, I know there's Ian plus these 2, that's 3 right there just in the last 2 years. And there's more, I'm sure. So this 172 over 172 years, only 126 isn't even one a year, but 170 years ago, the waters were colder. Up until last year and the year before, that extra 1 degrees, extra 2, extra 5 degrees of temperature between now, back then and now, that means now more hurricanes are coming. So again, I would not even be thinking about buying anything in Florida. In fact, you want to know what's something weird? I wouldn't be thinking about buying anything in the Gulf Coast. I mean, we just had a hurricane Milton hop from the Pacific Ocean, tropical storm over. It was a hurricane, tropical storm over Mexico, come out in the Gulf and turn into a Cat 5 because the Pacific Ocean is colder, right? So now it hops over as a tropical storm, then turns into a Cat 5 in the ocean, luckily. But it lands at Cat 3 probably, right? Cat 3, Cat 2, it doesn't matter. They're spinning off tornadoes. So it's uprooting trees, moving RVs, moving cars around. The tornadoes themselves are scary. Touching down, moving stuff through the air. That's crazy, especially when you had debris from the previous week. I mean, this is just craziness to me. Jaway J. Eric, not sure if you know the Haitian situation took a different turn this week. Oh, all the workers in Punta Cana went on strike. I didn't hear about this. This is the Dominican Republic Weekly. Oh my God. Look, I have nothing to say other than you guys know, you guys have been here. This is Financial News Friday as well. Plebes, this is what I was talking about. When you, first of all, the Roman Empire, plebeians used to walk out because the Roman Empire, they would do whatever they want. So the only way you can get somebody's attention is do this. So the plebeians, as they were called, would say, okay, you're rich, fine. You do everything and walk off out of the city. So now all the rich people who have all the people working, all the businesses that have people working for them, have nobody working for them. And as you guys know, you can't be rich if you don't have somebody working for you underneath. So now all of a sudden they have to come to some sort of bargaining table or something has to happen. Now, I'm not saying it's the same thing, obviously, but I love the maneuvering. I will say this, though, no matter what happens, there's a lot of people on the island of Hispaniola who must have banned history books. Because I will never understand one simple thing. Humans are humans, and everybody wants to have a better life. And if you're telling me I got to deal with people shooting at me, shooting at my family, some people in my family are dead, then got chopped up, have been gotten into the drug mule business because they're threatening your family, you best believe I'm cutting across illegally into another country. If I can't get in right way, I'm jumping the fence. Because I'm thinking it's safer over there than it is over here. What's the worst case scenario? They're going to ship me back to this godforsaken place? Really? I'd rather be over at the other side, godforsaken place, than to be over here. So any day that I'm on the other side, then I don't have to worry about bad crap happening to me. I'm happy. And if I have to fake, lie, cheat, I don't want to say steal, but obviously that's what's going to have to happen. The point is, I'm going to try and get a job when I get across here so I can provide for my family. I'm not going to try and do anything else. So that's why this is very interesting with me, because I'm like talking with people after I made that video on Dominican Republic Weekly. And there's a lot of Dominicans that go, this is great because the hospitals are full because of Dominican people getting their health care. And somehow, I don't know how the government is apparently paying for it. But all of that, the government is responsible for handling that. That's what I never understand. Just like in America, the government's responsible for figuring out how to do immigration. You're not bringing bills to the floor, or when you bring bills to the floor, you cancel them or vote against them, even though you made the bill. That doesn't make any sense. That just tells me you're not really trying to figure out immigration, because the only way immigration truly would work is just like the DMV line. I'm just going to call it what it is. Get in line. Here's where you come in at. Fine. You got to make it easily accessible. You can't just put in two places to enter and go, hey, guys, I know you have, like they're trying to move out, what, 10,000 a week? Imagine if you had 10,000 people show up this week to try to come into a country. Well, there's no way you're going to process that if you have 2 entry points or 4 entry points. You're going to, I mean, humanly impossible. Even if you spoke to somebody 5 minutes or less, that's not possible. You can only talk to 12 people an hour. It's going to take you a hell of a long time, even if you had 10 places open. You're still not going to get to 10,000 people this week. So therefore, your government should be setting up places that says, hey, just like Ellis Island. See, that's where you have a problem. You should easily say, everybody knew from Europe, Ellis Island. In fact, you didn't have to be from Europe. You could have just said Ellis Island. I know to go to New York, sign in at Ellis Island. I don't see a problem. I'm like, okay, you want to come here legally? Then okay, let's open up 50 places. And then we start taxing people too. I mean, if you're going to let people in a country, then you say, okay, since you're going to be part of our country by immigration, then I say, okay, fine. You're going to have to sign something. To me, I'm like, okay, you're going to have to go get a job. I'm not saying I'm going to take money from you now because, hey, we're humans. You have a bad life over there. You want to come here and try to make a life, fine. But I need to know when you get a job, you got to pay a little bit for staying here. I don't mind. I don't even care if it's $100. All I'm trying to say is at least you can keep tabs on people and say thank you and make it easy. And also now, what do? They have jobs. I'm assuming you like the 18% tax, right? I'm like, I mean, they're going to spend money there, or they're going to send it back to Haiti. History lesson, Hispaniola, one island at one time. You guys are all related over there, which is, I don't understand. Butterfly, beautiful. I see you. I got some people from the DR at Instagram right now. You guys go back. Did they ban your history books? Do you have history books that you can read before 1800? I mean, I'm not quite understanding. When Christopher Columbus shows up, one island. All of a sudden, later, the French own Haiti. Spain owns Dominican Republic. All right? And so when people are saying Haitians are stupid, they're bad, they're this, and Haitians are going, Dominicans are bad, they're this, I'm like, you guys are all on the same damn team. I'm like, what the hell's going on? You shouldn't wish anything bad for anybody. But I will say this, if you don't know the history of Haiti, you should study. You should understand America invaded Haiti in the 1920s. Yes, you heard me, invaded. Army, U.S. military was on that portion of the island, plundering resources, of course. Other so-called people, countries come in and try to plunder Haiti and have done it. The aid to Haiti also corrupt because they have puppets installed from countries and governments around the world. They have dictators who could care less about the people, plundering their own country. I mean, it's out of control, the history that they have. It's turmoil. It's almost like you might as well just drop crack cocaine in Haiti for the last 100 years. That's what it's like. So the only place that's better is go across here. In fact, I'll take a boat and come around. I mean, that makes sense. But Dominican people say, hey, they're taking up our resources. We're paying for it. We're doing this. I can understand both sides. But at the same time, something has to give. And if some people are going to say things such as, the only reason we don't get paid what we should get paid is because Haitian workers are here illegally taking lower wages. So I, for one, wanted to see what was going to happen when they take out 10,000 people per week and they get up to 100, 200,000 people sometime around January to February, because every week 10,000 and it takes you 20 weeks. There's 4 weeks, so that'd be 5 months. So that'd be October, November, December, January, February. Yeah. So sometime around March, it could have been 200,000 people taken out. I wanted to see it because I wanted to let the people know, what's the government going to do? Are they still going to build the roads, the bridges? Well, not so much bridges, the roads, the infrastructure, water, sewer, garbage treatment plants, a new electrical system, or an upgrade so you don't have to go through SEPIN. I mean, what are they going to do? Is that where they're going to spend all this money? Are they going to give infrastructure for the people? Are they going to give higher wages? How are people going to get higher wages? Somehow people are thinking all of a sudden I'm going to get paid more because all the immigrants are gone. I got news for you. That's not exactly how a capitalist system works. They're going to pay you damn near the same amount. And then you're going to say, I'm not going to take it. And then you're going to wonder, well, nothing's getting done. Well, in a builder's aspect. But that's the way I look at it. So a lot of people have some things to say. But this right here, see, here's the situation that Yahweh J that I was getting to. When you say all the workers in Punta Cana went on strike, the question is, what all workers are we talking about? There's differences. Are we talking about Haitian workers? Because for them, they're looking for money to take back home or send home, I'm assuming. But if you're talking about all workers, now that's on the Roman plebeians situation there. That's a whole nother ball game. That means, I guess, only the Haitians will do it, kind of thing. But then you don't have enough of Dominicans to do it with them. So now there's going to be a standstill. Congratulations, all the real estate investors. And I mean this facetiously, because this is not congratulations. This is part of the thing that, when you understand why I've always said buy at a certain price and don't overpay, don't do things in contracts and make them a certain way, do all this stuff that we talked about. There's a reason you don't know the future. Just like right now, you don't know the future. So now these properties that are being in pre-construction, they're going to use this as a delay tactic because they weren't going to build it. They're going to be late anyhow. So they're going to use this to be extra another few months late. They're going to go, oh, you know about the strike, right? We couldn't do anything for a week. That set us back months. That's what's going to be said. So again, be careful what you wish for when you start looking at human beings as an object instead of, let's see if we can work something out together, and demanding those in power that actually can do something. You should be demanding, hey, man, you're in Congress, write the frickin' laws so then people won't come across the border and be willing to stop at the border so you can get a track on everybody. And by the way, we have technology. I'm like, let me ask somebody something. I don't understand why a country hasn't done this already. Why wouldn't you give them trackers? This is what I don't understand. Here, I got a bracelet for you. Fine. You can go. Check in at the immigration office over here every month. And then when people don't show up, Now we hunting for you, yes, but at least we have your information. We have pictures. We know who you are. We know who your family members are. You follow what I'm saying? I'm like, this is what you would do. Come on. We'll even give you a number too. We have your number. It's tracked. We know where you're working. It's tracked. Otherwise, if you can't get a job with a legitimate company in the next 60 days, 90 days, you have to go back. So that gives them incentive to go get a job. I mean, there's so many things you can do that's actually helping both sides of the fence. So people would say, okay, I got my job. I'm getting paid X amount. But some people are afraid that when immigrants come in, immigrants will take less money. So they're thinking that they wouldn't be offered the same amount of money. This is in normal societies, just like in DR, this would probably be true. But at the same time, I'm like, when they're all gone, you'll find out how much you would really be getting paid. It's not going to be that much more, if at all more. And who wants to, I got to say it like it is. There's not, do you know guys that realize that you can be a roofer in the United States? They're looking for roofers. They're looking for people that build homes. You could be making $100 per hour. You could be making $70 per hour. But you don't see people going down to learn about it like thousands of people at one time showing up to get their apprenticeships, right? There's a reason. When it's 100 degrees out, you don't want to be in a field that's with cement and wood and dirt. I mean, that's a whole different environment for a 6, 7, 8 hour day. All right. Anyhow, Yahweh J, are you kidding me? On strike without union? That won't go for long for sure. I'm going to the DR next week to check on my place, and we'll get the latest and greatest. All right. Victor Marrero, Mr. Worldwide, starts his trip next week. This will be awesome, man. You'll be able to tell us when you come back next week. Okay. You'll have to let us know, man. Are you going to be at the Hard Rock again? Because I know you love that spot. That's where your place is. But here's what I wanted to discuss about this real estate investing. Again, no credit check, no qualifying, no barriers to entry. If you want to come over and join us December 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, go to ssnlifestyle.com and sign up for our SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. All right. Now, here's the thing. I went to go look at Airbnb like 3-4 days ago. And like I said on Wednesday night, it was like they upgraded to where they're showing everything. I mean, they're showing like where a mini mart is, a grocery store is, a spa is, a damn washing machine location. I mean, it's out of control. But I did notice something else. It appears that either they did something with listings in the Dominican Republic. I haven't checked anywhere else. How do I know this? Because when I looked at Los Corrales, El Cordacito, the reduction of units for short-term rental, hardly there. So then I said, okay, maybe it's just this week that I chose. I chose like a week that's going to be like in November. So then I said, let me go to see what's happening. So I went and chose a week in March. The same places showed up in Los Corrales for the most part, because I was looking, I saw like, and only 20 places were available. Usually when you look at Los Corrales, El Cordacito, or I'll put it this way, it was Los Corrales mainly, 20. Usually if you go to Los Corrales, there's at least 50 places available. So when I knew from November and then when I went to March and it was like the same number, I was like, something's not right. So then I said, okay, maybe this is how it worked out. I know where I'll go. I'll go out to Conarock because there's so many units out there that are up for Airbnb. Let me go see what's out there. I go out there. Same thing. There's only 15 to 20 units of Airbnbs listed. Again, I do like in this month, which is low season. I go, okay, I'll go to low season and check. Low. Hardly anything's out there. Like 20, 25. They've added 4 condos out there over the last 2 years. You mean nobody in those 4 condos projects are renting. I'm like, something's weird. So something must have happened that I don't know about. Nobody's talking about yet, but there's something wrong. And then I started looking at listings, and they used to have these like management companies. I didn't run into management companies either. So maybe they are starting to do something with Airbnb. Also, Airbnb, real estate investing, they're going to add a tax. They've already said it. In case you're missing the Dominican Republic weeklies that we do, episode 29 is going to be coming out this weekend. They're going to add the Airbnb tax. And I'm afraid, I'm really afraid, because they're going to need money, and I think they're going to get it from Airbnb. And I don't think it's going to be 5%. I think they're going to do this 15, 18, 20%. I think it's going to be that. I'd be so happy it was under 5%, because that'd be negligible. Everybody who invested already from 2018, 2017 up until now and bought their properties at the right price, they're going to be happy. But this thing about if they do 18%, like, I don't even know what the hotels are paying. But if they do 20%, holy smokes, that would be catastrophic. And Airbnb, don't forget, in short-term rental platforms, unless you're with VRBO and you pay your flat fee up front, don't forget they charge an additional fee. So can you imagine if something catastrophic happened, like 15%, and then Airbnb now is doing like, they're at like 20 something, they're up there 15 to 20%. So imagine 30% is in fees potentially or more, and you want to rent at a reasonable price, $200. Reasonable. And I'm referring to if you have a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom at this point, you say $200. That's $260 in taxes. And that doesn't even include if you have housekeeping and anything else. So now all of a sudden they could be paying $300, almost a 280 average, 270 average for the week. And you have a 1-bedroom unit or a 2-bedroom unit or a 3-bedroom unit. And now you bought the thing for $250,000. What does that do? In case you're not familiar with real estate, just do a simple number. If I have to rent a place for $275, my brain says I'm only going to collect $137.75. So therefore, I can't buy anything for $300,000 or $250,000 or even $200,000 if all I'm going to receive is 50%. Because remember, that extra $75 per night all of a sudden starts getting crazy, right? Think about it. You're going to have to, you're not receiving the $75 is tax. You don't receive any portion of that. Your price point is $200 a night divided by in half is 100. Oh, I know. You thought it was going to be better. No, it's actually worse. When you actually take out the fee that you're not getting, the Airbnb fee you don't get, that tax that's going to the Dominican Republic government, you don't get that. That housekeeping fee, you might, well, who cares about $10? If you charge a little more, that doesn't matter. That's not insignificant. So keep in mind, you're gonna charge the customer $275 per night. You're receiving $200. You receive 50% afterwards, around $100 per night. You're now going to need to rent your place at like an, so 80 times 100 nights, which is like 30%, let's say, right? So that's 24 grand, right? So now all of a sudden you're going to have to start figuring out, is this really going to be worth it? And like I said, this is why, again, everybody buying property over there, you're doing good. All right. Early. All right. Yahweh J. George's Charles. Jay, why are they on strike? That won't last long. They won't go long without money. Well, it all depends on what we're talking about. Victor, yes. My take is that these developers, to keep the projects going, they should file migrant working papers for these workers. Okay. Yahweh J, that is a thing. That's what you're supposed to do. In fact, since I was going to be doing some development there and I didn't come out of retirement, the financing fell through. It's not going to happen. That's one of the things that I had to talk about with the guys. They were like, I said, well, wait a minute. What about getting health insurance for your workers? He's like, oh, yeah, we can do. You have to do all that if you're going to be a developer. That's what you should do. That's exactly right. That's why I'm finding it very interesting about this, the immigration situation, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what these developers are supposed to do, quite frankly. You're supposed to report the migrant that works for you. You're supposed to give them give it up to the government, so they're all tracked. That's what you're supposed to do. I don't know what the developers are doing in reality here. I just know what I was going to be doing: straight legal, straight checked. I didn't want to really have anybody who was in illegally. So everybody was going to have to sign papers, do photos, do fingerprints, all this stuff. As far as I'm concerned, even if the government doesn't do it, we're doing it. So you weren't going to be rolling around here tracked. So that's all I can say. Jawway J at George's, there's a mass deportation going on. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Eric. I think more likely corporations may end up buying these homes and turn them into rentals. It'll be risky. You're right. A lot of people could not afford the insurance. Exactly. Not afford insurance. How about not having insurance? There's people right now that have gone through Helene and Milton. They don't have insurance because they could not get it. Not because they didn't want to. They could not get it because the insurance company said no. All right. I have a situation right now with my mother's house that they won't insure. They won't insure this neighborhood. The house is 50 years old. Over 50 now that I'm thinking about it. It's over 50 years old. The whole neighborhood is over 50 years old. They won't insure them 3-4 months. Crazy. There. So I met him one time, but it's kind of like I wasn't planning on seeing him or being here around here. So you were right. I think more likely, exactly. That's what's going to happen. All right, George's Charles, are you kidding me? There's a mass deportation going. This will kill the builders. Yeah, George's Charles, exactly. And speaking of that, if you're still here, let me know what happened, man, with your villa. What's going down? Tamara Larry, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live stream with that icon next to your name, which I greatly appreciate. And saying we are good now. Yes, I'm glad to hear you're good now. Very happy to hear you. Greatly. To buy in Florida, you need to stay away from the coast. If you want to have much lower insurance costs, you're right there. At some point, the government will need to step in and sell high yield bonds to assist. That's what's going to happen, Victor Morel. They're going to print money out of thin air. But who's the government, though? Are you talking about the state of Florida? Either way, the federal government will do it. They've already started it at 4% yields. Crazy. And that's pretty high is what I'm trying to get at. And Florida themselves can actually do it, which, again, I don't know how you do it as a state, because the state of Florida, in my opinion, I don't know what the rating would be at this point when you know there's going to be billions of dollars worth of damage every year in the state. I mean, no state can withstand, well, there's some states, Texas, Florida could be one, California is another, New York. I mean, there's some states, there's probably 10 states that can handle a couple of $1 billion a year in damages and repair work that needs to be done. But you can't keep doing this, even if you are able to handle it, putting that into a budget. Who pays for it? So again, I just, they have to sell bonds, but I don't know how they're going to pay interest on the bonds from a state level. That's what I don't get. Where are you going to get the interest to pay the money for the interest? Where's that coming from? So that means, again, you're going to have to tax people more money. Quite frankly, that I don't see a way out in this Gulf Coast scenario. Those people who don't believe in certain things about the world's always changing. George is Charles, but Victor, to Eric's point, how will you get it insured? Exactly. Here's the other thing. Remember, Victor Marrero, there's places in Florida, some of these insurance companies have that rule. Is your house 15 years or older, you have to pay for a roof. And a lot of these hurricane homes are 15 years or older. I mean, otherwise it wouldn't even be on the beach, right? Well, now you can build something new, but I'm just saying. That's the biggest question. And don't forget, you need flood insurance, which is ridiculous cost. And you need other insurance for your house. And you're going to need another insurance trigger point. So this is being a real estate thing now. Listen, if you're in a high risk area, we have bad news for you. If you have insurance and you say, okay, my house is $300,000. Hurricane comes, fire comes, your house is gone. The insurance company comes to you and says, okay, here's $175,000. You're pissed. I can't rebuild for that. Then they're going to come to you and say, well, your insurance goes by this certain language. So this is why we're giving you $175. If you would have paid for the value to rebuild, then your policy would have been higher. So you have to understand, insurance companies don't tell you what you really need to know, but you really need to know. Just like if you have an exotic sports car, you should not be getting regular insurance. You have to have replacement value. Whatever the replacement value is, that's where I'm getting my insurance money amount from. So there's 2 or 3 different things you have to add into a policy, which cost you a little more sometimes, especially in places like Florida, the Gulf Coast, especially in Florida, in California, where there's fires. So these are the type of things that you got to think about. And that's why with the insurance, there's here's what happened. Get this. My dad has insurance. Due to the Hurricane Helene, I could not believe what he was saying. He said the Hurricane Helene, because of it, the water, this is one of my pet peeves. The water, the runoff went into their basement. Of course, they called the insurance company. And you know what the insurance company said? Force majeure, not covered. Act of God, ladies and gentlemen, is force majeure. Wind, rains, some other things. So you got to be very, very careful when you get this insurance and they go, yeah, the insurance is $4,000 annually. You're pissed, but you're like, okay, what happens if a hurricane comes? Am I covered? What happens if I have water damage in my house from whatever? Once again, okay, remember when I said one of my little pet peeves when I go see a house? First thing is, I always like a house that may be a little higher. Okay, check. But let's just say you have basements, because he has a basement. Remember my little pet peeve about having that little trough next to your foundation and your walls? So if there is any downpour, it runs straight to the sewer instead of going into your walls. That's one of my pet peeves. And generally, semi-custom and custom homes will have the trough, because that keeps water away from your cement, your stucco, things like that. So, of course, he doesn't have that because, you get cheap houses in a state, southern states have cheap houses. Let's call it what it is. Oftentimes you won't have that, but that's why I always suggest custom homes. They cost more, but the quality and what you're looking for will be there, especially if you're understanding how weather patterns and weather works. You're looking at certain things like if you care about temperatures in your house, then you have to figure out which way your house should sit on a lot. People don't think of these things, right? Which way does the sun come in summer and winter? So that way I need the sun to come into my house in the wintertime, and I need as much shade as possible in the summertime when it's the hottest, right? So that's where you situate your house, trying to get the best of both worlds without having to fire up your furnace or firing up your AC, because your energy bills are going to cost you more 5 years from now and 10 years from now. They're going to keep rising. The energy companies have to make a profit every 3% to 5% annually. It's going to keep going up. So you have to protect yourself in the long run. There's certain things that you can do instead of just going, oh, I'll just take this house. You should be thinking that house is cool, but hey, you don't have the troughs that I like out here, and you're not going to be putting them in, trust me. So you're not going to make this work. So we can leave already. I don't need to look at this house. Because if there's a thunderstorm, rainstorm, hurricanes, anything crazy that happens with water, I want that stuff dissipated away from my foundation. I don't want it nowhere near. And by the way, in case you missed the video that I made, what to look for when you buy a home, I made 4-part series. You should Google that. And the reason why you should Google that is because you will understand. Some people will say, I have a block house. I have a brick house. I huff and I puff and all that. Hurricanes won't blow me down. That's fine. But what a lot of people don't realize is cement does not last forever. And you don't know the mixture of cement that they used. And water can get inside of your cement. Just a little crack. Anything. Now it's inside. Now that actually messes up if you have a foundation or if you have any stilts or anything like this to hold up your foundation. If you have a basement. And in the case of my dad's house, his house is 30 years old. Do you think how permeable do you think those bricks and blocks are that's blocking between him and the water after 30 years plus? You best believe something might have moved, something might have cracked, something that there's a settling somewhere, right? So therefore, now you understand why basements leak, because under no circumstance, it's 25 years to 50 years is the lifespan for bricks in the first place. Block construction type things in the first place. They can last up to 100 years. But just remember, if something was built 30 years ago, does that mean they have the same protection? You're going to protect the cement, right? And go, okay, it's a good day. Have a nice life. Well, there's one little problem. It breaks down over years. It's not like an endless protection. All right. So as the elements keep tapping on it, elements keep coming, searching for a crack or a crevice or an opening. Sooner or later, a crack, crevice, opening happens and they find it. That's water. Finds any crack. You can't stop water. If there's a crack, it's going. So that is one of the problems when people build basements in an environment where it could rain and storm and do things like anything with regard to water. You're going to have a problem. Eventually, you just don't know when. And just keep all that in mind. All right. Just giving you guys some heads up when you're buying homes out here. There's nothing you can do about age. And there's nothing you can do if your insurance company gives you a ultimatum. Either get a new roof or we're not going to insure you. There's nothing you can do if your house is 15, 20, 25 years old. What are you going to do? Not get insurance? Some people opted for that. Right now, some people in the hurricane probably opted for that, and now they're hurting. I mean, it's a no-win scenario, quite frankly, in my opinion. I don't see. I just don't see it. Don't forget about Asheville. Oh man, that was Jesus. Talk about, oh man, rivers of mud moving, overflow. Oh my God. People died, cars moved, homes moved. Oof, man. And you know, it's always interesting to me because people are like, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm gonna rebuild. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. Why am I gonna rebuild? When I know this is an area that if there's a serious weather situation, which there will be over the next 10 years, that I'm going to be in the flood area or the mudslide area. I don't get it. The people that live on the coast, I'm going to rebuild. I'm like, why? Take your insurance money and go buy a house somewhere else. Why are you doing this? You know you're going to be involved in a serious event over the next, let's just say you live there for 15 years. Over the next 15 years, you're going to have to be watching the news, listening to sirens going off. I mean, how many times a year? I mean, this is crazy to me. So it's maybe a little cheaper, but it's worth, peace of mind is worth a hell of a lot more. That's all I can say. I never even thought about it because, like I said, I lived in Northern California. We don't, I mean, there's tornadoes that touch down in some parts when there's bad weather, but it's rare. Fires in Sac is rare because that's where I'm like from. So when I stayed in Florida for the first time in a long time, starting like 7 years ago, I was just like unprepared when they were saying, hey, you might have to evacuate. And I'm thinking like, evacuate for what? And they're like, hurricanes in the Gulf. It might be coming this way. It didn't even dawn on me because I never even had to worry about a hurricane or a tornado. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is a thing. Then they started boarding up the shops, started boarding up homes, apartments, doing all this boarding up stuff days in advance. And I was like, but what happens if it goes a different way? Well, all the water bottles, all the sandbags, all that stuff would be for naught, but you have to be prepared. So now you have to start doing hurricane proofing your place. And it's kind of like, what the heck is going on around here? It was just weird, like the Twilight Zone the first time. And then the second time, okay, I know where the floods are going to be. The flooded street, what's happening? We're safe. I'm safe in this spot right here. I know nothing's going to happen, but it's crazy to think about it. What will you do if you know that your street or your area can flood? How does that make you feel? I mean, I'd be on that. Oh man, talk about anxiety. I'd be like knowing if this thing hits the wrong way, that there could be water in your house, water in your apartment, water in your, business. I mean, this is crazy when you start thinking about it. To me, that's stressful. The people wiped out. Maybe Asheville may give me a better opportunity. Hey, all I'm saying is I'm not buying in any location that has weather issues. This is not going to be the last time that these places are going to be affected. I mean, this is not good. This is really, really not good. Victor Morel, George Charles, we have to be incentivized, insurance companies. That's why I was saying to have the government give out bonds for investors. Exactly. It has to be that way. I believe they did that during Andrews in Miami. Yeah, that's Victor Morel. You're right. That makes sense. I have to agree with you 100%. That's the only way. Because otherwise you're going to put the burden on the citizens. And unfortunately, it's going to fall on the citizens after all said and done. Because insurance companies right now are not going to pay out people to rebuild their house. And second of all, they're not going to insure even more people now. In fact, they're probably going to be down to like probably 2 companies after these billions of dollars are going to be paid out. And oh, by the way, the hurricane season isn't over yet. I mean, how scary is that? So when we're doing real estate investing, these are some of the things that you have to look at the criteria. So I just want to ask people, since we're talking about Florida, I was thinking about this while I'm watching a Cat 5 move across the Gulf of Mexico. I was like, all those $1 million condos in Miami off the ocean. What happens if a Cat 4 or Cat 5 hits Miami directly? I'm pretty skeptical about freaking 40, 50, 60 story high buildings not swaying and being wiped out. And what's even worse, they have more of those buildings that are next to each other. I'm just like, well, if something happens to this one, and it just like a dominoes, toom, toom, toom. I'm like, this is scary. And people have spent millions of dollars in some instances for some of these condo buildings. But so far, still standing. It's incredible. Incredible. And never mind those buildings that are 30, 40 years old that have to be certified now. And knowing that their structures have deteriorated. Can you imagine what would happen if a hurricane hits Miami? I mean, it's not only the new stuff, all the older buildings that are 70, 80 years old, 40 years old, 30 years old. I mean, Jesus. I'm like, this is a nightmare waiting to happen. All right, Yahweh J, it got a bit dangerous when some of the workers wanted to cross the line and were trying to go to work. They were throwing stones at them while boarding buses. Oh, my. So it is the migrants. Oh, my. Yahweh J, let me know about this a little bit more. So are we talking about it was the actual immigrants that were working for the corporations, companies, developers that actually went on strike? So we're not talking about the Dominicans went on strike with them. What you're referring to is the Haitian immigrants went on strike. And then, rightfully so, some other people go, I got mouths to feed, so I'm going to cross the picket line. And now you're saying old school stoning? Wow. Wow. They said, dude, get in line. Get in line. We're trying to prove a point here. See what's going to happen without us. Wow. 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 Woo. That is talk about a chess move. Okay, to all my fellow Dominicans who were complaining that you wanted the immigration to take away all these guys, here's your chance. You can go sign up for the work at the office so you don't get stoned. You can say, I'm going to report in 4 or 5 days. Now you have, I love this because this proves the point without actually getting everybody gone. This could prove a point that I wanted to see what's going to happen. Because all the Dominicans, there's a lot talking mess. I'm like, okay, we'll see how many of you are going to go out there and work, doing brickworks and moving stuff around hand to hand that weighs 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds. I want to see this. Most people aren't going to do that. So I want to see if you can round up about 100,000 people, 50,000 people that say that you need to make higher wages, because I want to see the higher wages and I want to see you doing the work. So we'll see what happens. So this is great information right here, because this is what I was hoping, because then they get a taste of what happens when people leave, like the Romans did, the plebeians did with the Romans. They said, I'm leaving. So when people say, oh, we're just plebes, that's just another word for citizens. Like it got a bit dangerous. Okay, here we go. I don't think so. It was wipe out. Okay. Jesus, that's bad. George, Brian P. Okay, I missed something. Eric, you think Victor's idea would fix the insurance problem in Florida? There's no fix. The only thing that does, it puts a backstop, but it's not going to insure people. You would have to have billions of dollars in bonds coming in, not millions, billions. And we're not talking about like 2 billion neither. It's going to be billions. I think I haven't seen any estimates yet, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be in the billions. So there's and the cost to rebuild is what I'm referring to, not the billions itself. The cost to rebuild is going to be in billions. So who's going to buy a bond for Florida, even if it gives out 3%, and then it's going to have to be in the billions, knowing another storm could be here next week. Another storm will be here next year. So, I mean, this is a problem. But that is one way to do it. And that's a way that the citizens don't have to pay. The government itself does not have to pay. That's a bypass. If anybody missed the video that I made about Buffalo Bills Stadium, the owners did this. So here's what happened. Let me give you, this is crazy. I'll give you a short synopsis. Imagine the New York State takes $500 million out of the Seneca Indians bank account, saying you owe us taxes, right? They do owe some tax money. But what happened is, I just have to say it like it is. America always breaks its treaties. All right, that's the point. So what was supposed to happen is, just think about a square box, and the agreement is that square box is Seneca Indian land, and only Seneca can have gambling machines or gambling halls or casino on this box, in this box. New York State says we agree, but the governor's husband has a business that's in the gaming industry. Cool. Guess what happens in that box? The company the husband's involved with happens to have machines that are allowed to be placed in the box. Seneca Indians go, oh, wait a minute, man. That's not the agreement. So they're withhold paying their taxes, not for the casinos, gambling. And so this New York State goes, we'll just take, they have $500 and some odd million in their bank account. They snatch it because you owe us the money anyhow. And that's where the Seneca Indians came back and said, no. You breached the treaty, and it was for only X amount of years. And we need those gambling machines removed off our square box. New York says, okay, guess where that $600 million from New York State goes to fund the Buffalo Bills' new stadium. They took it from the Seneca Indians, and now they're giving it to Buffalo to build, the owner and the city to build. Okay, you think that's bad? The NFL is chipping in themselves $250 million. So now we're up to $850 million, right? Then the city or county, Erie County, pipes up. Yeah, we're gonna put in $250 million also, or I think it's $300 million. We're gonna put in half of it. We're going to we're going to do something with taxes. The other half, we're going to sell bonds. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Okay, that's cute. So now we are over $1.1 billion. Okay, guess what the owners do? And you're sitting there going, wait, the owners are worth $6-7 billion. How come they just don't pay for the damn thing themselves? So far, the owners haven't had to pay over $1 billion, right? It's going to cost about 1.7 to build this stadium. Can you believe the owners get to sell licenses for the season tickets? So in essence, Whoever wants to come to the game are going to pay for licenses. How much of these licenses? I don't know, but they're probably going to be like $1,000, $700 or more. They have thousands of seats in the arena, in the stadium. So let's just, I mean, this is crazy. Let's just say they sold 10,000 of these tickets. So if you do 10,000 tickets, and let's just say it was something even crazy reasonable, 10,000 of these tickets. Here goes the number, 10,000 times 500, something reasonable. There goes $5 million. Somebody would say, okay, Eric, that's cool, but that's 10,000. But the tickets aren't 500. The YSL license fee isn't going to be 500. It's going to be more than this, but I'll just say 5 million. All right. And then these guys do the similar thing as Erie. They say, Erie says, be a part of the team. You get this, be a part of the team. So now the team has to literally put out less than a few hundred, not even $100 million out of their own pockets. It's disgusting. But anyhow, this is the type of thing that you have to do with the bonds. The same thing. You have to do bonds and anybody in the world can buy them. It's not going to fix anything. The insurance problem is never going to be fixed because insurance companies are not regulated, as in, the government doesn't get to say the price is this. You have to cover people. It's a capitalist system. They have to take their risk assessments. So therefore, they can't just sit there and say, hey, we're going to have to pay out like $5 billion next year. How many customers do we have? Then this is how we're going to figure out. We have to charge everybody $10,000, $15,000 for premiums. Take your pick. So that's why it's only it gets money into the hands of the state. But on the backside, you're still not going to have everybody insured. So what are we going to do here? You're going to have a lot of empty lots. You're going to have a lot of rundown homes because people left and abandoned them because you couldn't restore them. I mean, this is a no-win scenario, in my opinion. And like you said from the beginning, home prices are going to be so cheap, it's going to be ridiculous. All right. Jaway J, the deportation is never too successful because the police at the border have a different agenda. Because when a group is taken back, those who can afford to pay will be allowed back in. Well, I don't know, Jaway J, the immigration policies, but if what you're saying is true, then that's a problem. That's a problem, Jaway J. And that's exactly what I'm trying to talk about here. I'm like, the government, even in America, it doesn't even matter where you are. All governments should be like an Ellis Island. How come we don't have an Ellis Island on the border like with Mexico? Why isn't there like 5, 6, 7, 8 Ellis Island points where people around the world goes, I go on Arizona, Texas, New Mexico, California. Them borders aren't just 50 miles wide. We're talking about hundreds of miles wide. So one's at mile marker 75 and one's at mile marker 150. Let's move to the next state. This is the only 2 spots you can come in. And we give you something, a band or whatever. You got to give some markers, identifiers, and trackers as far as I'm concerned. I don't know the legalities on all that, but I'm just saying. I need to track you. You're coming into my country. I need to track you. I don't even feel bad about this. If you're coming here without a passport, you're coming here saying you want asylum. You're coming here saying, I don't want to just jump the fence. I want to come in here the right way. And you want the citizens of the country say, yeah, we want you to come the right way. Then set up the system so it can be the right way. How many people are coming to the border? If you tell me 10,000 people are coming to the border every day, then you set up a system where we can accept 10,000 people every day, right? Why not? If you want people to do it the right way, because if I'm going to stand in line and have to get a tent and stay out here where I have some coyotes coming to me saying, hey, man, Your wife looks good. Your daughter looks good. Here's a gun pointed to your head. We're taking your wife. We're taking your daughter because we want to traffic them. Or you're going to save your life or not. Or we're just going to take. I mean, you're not going to be sitting around thinking about this after you watch or see it. You're thinking, okay, we're jumping the fence. Where's the ladder? Where's the tunnel? We're going. You're not thinking about what happens on the other side. You're thinking, okay, what are they going to do? Put me in a detention center? Thank you. Thank you. But then we got to worry about the coyotes inside the detention centers. Because in America, when we have the detention centers, can you believe the officers are doing the same thing that the coyotes are doing? Raping, pillaging, doing all kind of crap. It's crazy. So now they think they're safe. Then they're in that environment thinking, oh, great. I'm being taken care of. We got food, warm place. Don't have to worry about nothing. And now I find out the guards are doing crazy stuff. Can't win. But the point I'm trying to make is if you're really trying to do immigration, then do immigration. Why you keep playing around? If I know I'm the shining hill, America's the shining hill. If you're going to allow people from Europe to land off of a boat and have 300 to 500 to 1,000 to 2,000 people on a boat and land at Ellis Island to sign in with a fake name, like from Italy, like from Germany, like from Poland, because they're trying to avoid the war. That was how America allowed it before. But at least you had people sign in, take pictures. The least you could do, right? All I'm saying is when you get serious about my immigrants and all that and allowing them in or out of your country, then you do certain things to remedy the situation. You just don't keep talking about it. And you damn sure don't try to round up 10,000 people per week. Like, that's kind of wild. I wanted to see that too, because I thought that was very interesting. And all I know is they were running around like it was slaves that they're catching out there. They had police, from what I understand, up in the North Coast, tracking people, running after them, grabbing them. I mean, it's crazy. Crazy stuff. Eric, no Haitian workers on the construction site. Golly, Yahweh J. Woo, that's a problem. That is a big, big problem. Victor Morrell says selling bonds in Florida will provide a backup to insurance companies. It will allow them to absorb large claims for catastrophic events, and that will lead to lower premiums. Some senators agree. How's it going to lead to low? I don't see this, Victor Morrell. I don't know what they're talking about. So, okay, so let's put it this way. Because numbers don't lie, we don't have the numbers. But I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, though. So what's going to end up happening is that they're, even though they have the bonds, let's say they have the bonds, it's a backstop. The insurance is the problem. So the cost to replace a home or repair damage is increasing every year. So there's no way to know how much the cost will be every year. So even if we have bonds, the insurance companies are not going to be willing to put themselves on the line to all of a sudden have to write checks for $5 billion, $10 billion, $25 billion. They're not going to do that. Is what I mean, I just can't see them doing this because the existing customers that they decide to keep, which is less than everybody. In other words, let's say there's 100%, and then let's say they're only going to cover 60% of all homes. The 60% have to pay the cost of $5 billion, let's say. Because the cost next year, it's going to cost next year more than $5 billion, let's say, if there's a catastrophic event. So they can never stay ahead of it is what I'm trying to get at, because prices go up and insurance companies are going to be stricter with who they have. So now that doesn't work for them. They can't operate this way because if they insure 80% of the people, then that means they have to take on the bad risk, high risk. And I don't think no insurance company is doing that anymore. They're filing bankruptcy. You're gonna see what's gonna happen right now. They're just gonna go, okay, we're walking away. We're not gonna give you any money. We'll file bankruptcy. Sayonara. I have so many friends from the Gulf Coast that lived in Louisiana, Mississippi's, Texas, and they lived where a hurricane occurred. They were messing around for 5 years trying to get the insurance monies. And the insurance company wrote a check for half the value of the home and said that's enough to fix it, knowing full well it wasn't in one of my friend's cases. And it never got resolved. The company then files bankruptcy. I mean, insurance companies are no joke. They're the mob. We don't have to pay you. If you're in the mob, we don't have to pay you. Yeah, some senators will agree, but unfortunately, that's not going to stop anybody. The insurance companies also are going to drop off. So however many insurance companies they were before Milton and Helene, there's going to be less in Florida at this point, with or without bonds. I just can't see how I don't see how this works out. I really don't. We can sell $100 billion worth of bonds. But see, the bonds that you sell have to have interest attached to them. Nobody's just going to give you money on a bond and say, okay, you give me zero for it. So now you're going to have to figure out, okay, where's this 2% or 3%, whatever you decide the bond's going to be, where's that going to come from? So does that mean now the tax bill has to, remember, these bonds aren't going to be 1 year either. They're probably going to be something crazy like 10 years or I don't know, 15. I don't know what they would make them. But the point is, every year you're going to be paying interest. And when you start taking out $50 billion and somebody goes, yeah, here's $50 billion in the bonds, and they start going, it's 2%, where's that money going to come from? You're going to start opening up a state tax of 2%? Or 3%, because 2% is just level. 3% because of transaction costs. We need to open up more offices now to cover that as a state. If we're talking about bonds for the state of Florida, which I don't even know how they would. I don't, that's fascinating. If they did decide to do that, who in their right mind would buy bonds from Florida? That's what I don't get. You're going to have catastrophic damages. And for them to make somebody buy their bonds, the Federal Reserve is very good at this. People aren't going to be buying bonds at 1% for the state of Florida or 2%. You're going to have to make it attractive. I would think you would need something. I would think you would need 3 or 4%. Or I just can't see why somebody would buy a 10-year bond at 2% or 1% for the state of Florida. If it's the USA, people do it all the time. But for the state of Florida, I don't know. That seems rough on me. But Victor Morel, let me know what you think, man. Here we go. My wife and I will be doing 3 one-day passes. 1 day pass at Margaritaville, 1 day pass at La Romana Dominicus Resort, 1 day at the Hard Rock. We'll stay at my nephew's place at Cap Cana. Victor Morel, you can't do this to us. Let the people know how much the 1 day passes are for Margaritaville, Hard Rock. Oh, wait. Let me change up the question. The 1 day passes for owners and the 1 day pass cost for if somebody's renting or somebody shows up and they don't live at either one of these places. Let me know if you know. I think the Hard Rock is owners, or isn't it $80? But I think, a 1 day pass at Hard Rock is now, it's $105, I think, for owners for all day. Depends. If you get an all day pass, isn't it $155 at Hard Rock, something like that? I don't know about the other ones at La Romana and Margaritaville, but let people know. You can't leave us hanging like that. Marlon Jordan, hello, Eric. I sent you a few River Island pictures. River Island. Oh, Atlantida. Right on, man. They started what? We were there 5-6 months ago, and they have their own place that they mix their cement, which is lovely. Lovely. Okay, 6 months. This is what it looks like. All right, I like it. It's okay. I like it. I mean, that's cool. Real cool. Let me see if I can actually pull this up on screen. Oh, I can. Okay, I see what I'm going to do. Hold on a second. Let me go see if I can. No, it's not doing it. I like it. I mean, here's since we're talking about real estate investing, this is the Atlantida project. You can go see this at ssnlifestyle.com. There's a link for the Atlantida project. And I'll show you on the screen what the pictures look like. Marlon Jordan, welcome to the SSN Nation. I lost it. SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream with that icon I humbly appreciate. And he brings his tagline, hello, Eric. I read the message. I sent you a few River Island pictures. I want to thank you so much for that. And oh my, Carleone King in the house tonight. Another investors here. Oh my, it's Investor Central here tonight. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. And he brings his tagline. Good evening, everyone. I'm loving the conversation tonight. Thank you so much, Carleone King. Hopefully everything's been going well with you. Right on. Glad to see you in the house. All right, here we go. Let's go see if I can pull up this picture. Where's this picture at? Where's that window? Hopefully we won't get disconnected. We'll see how this goes tonight. All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man, I should have brought up both of them. All right. So let me see. Where's the... Okay. Okay, so here's the entrance. An entrance is going to be up here. All right. Also, their commercial zone is going to be here. It's going to be along here is their commercial zone. So that's cool, right? The commercial zone is going to be around here. Awesome. There's also going to be another entrance on this road. There's a road back here that is it's a cut through that if you take Uber, they'll cut you through here, but generally people won't cut through here, but there's a cut through here that goes out to the highway. So they're going to have an entrance on this other side as well. Here's the cement. So they have their own mix with cost, but coming in up here, this is River Island back here. Atlanta is up front. I believe that's what it was because I was there. So the real question is, how many people here? How many people know how many years do you think this is going to take to build? Okay, let me put it to you another way. We were there in May. All right, in fact, the first week in May. So let's call it May 1st. So May, June, July, August, September, October. Okay. In 6 months, 5 months really. In 5 months, going on 6, this is all they have done right here. All right, just to give you guys an idea. So if they do this in 5 months, what do you think is going to happen? How long do you think it's going to build? I think these are 5 stories high. So if this is progress for every 5 months, notice they don't have a foundation on both sections, but they're laying down something. How long do you think it's going to take to build just these 2 sections of buildings? Seriously. If you start saying we can build a level every 5 months, or we can build this every 5 months, that'd be very interesting because this is going to take a while. It's going to take like another 5 years at this rate. So it's not going to help that we have a situation where Haitians are on strike. Haitians are going to be moving out of the country, rounded up, deported. That's not going to help. So again, let me know what you guys think about this. Also, I'm going to break out something else. Let me see. There was another picture too. Let me see. Maybe I'll do both. Okay, I can't do both. I can't do both. So I can't do both. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I want to hear it, because this will give you guys a practice. When you go to a project and go look at it, once you'll look at stuff and you'll be like, oh, okay, wherever they're at, that's like 3 years from now. You can just look at the project and be like, okay, that's going to be 3 years from now. Like right now, this is already, I think, okay, if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta was supposed to be delivered in 2025. It's not. In order for them to build, well, it appears they're doing River Island and Atlanta at the same time, which would be very interesting. But I don't know, but it's very interesting if they try this. This right here, in order to build those 2 circles, how long do you think it'll be? Me personally, looking at this and what they've done in 5 months is unacceptable. That's a long, I mean, seriously. So at this rate, they're not building floors every 5 months, or their whole circle is what I'm trying to get at. Not floors, but one of their whole circles is what they need to do, right? So how many years is this going to take? Is this going to take it like another 3 years? Is this going to be like Ocean Bay, where we're talking about 7 years or something? I mean, that's what this is going to look like to me, because if it's going to take you this long, 5 months, and I don't even have a foundation really, I'm a little worried. I'm a lot of worried, quite frankly. So all those people, River Island might be ready at this rate, 2020. What is this? Yeah, 2028, 2029 for some of the first phases. Yeesh. And if this strike goes on, woo, it's going to be very bad. Very, very, very bad. All right, I plan to have my Punta Cana place inspected by my brother-in-law, who's a construction engineer in the DR, prior to closing. Victor Marrero, you've been holding out on us this whole time. I've been looking for a construction engineer to talk to people, but you know what happens? Nobody wants to talk live. Nobody. The appraisers don't want to talk live. Nobody. Jeez. If he wants to talk live, or maybe he doesn't speak, hopefully he speaks English. I would love to have him on to talk to him, because I want to know if he's hireable, if he would go out for people to go check on projects for people. He should get paid, right? We should start that business. Or shall I say, I'll start the business. I have an SRL. If he'll agree, just let me know how much he wants to go out and check on projects for people. People don't mind paying a small fee. It's worth it. And to make sure they're building the project properly. That'd be awesome. Just put that out there, man. You've been holding out on us all these 5 years, 4 years, 3 years. Man, I didn't realize that. You should have them go out there already, Victor Moreau, because they've taken so long to build this that they might, be doing cheap stuff, is what I'm saying. Go check it out. Although you're a winner, because I saw a property, a 2-bedroom out there at a different project on the Connor Rock grounds, $510,000. I was like, holy smokes. You can buy villas damn near the water for this. I'm just like 510. That's a lot for a 2-bedroom. Georges Charles, for those who want to know true history of Haiti, fun fact, Haitian soldiers volunteered to fight in the U.S. Revolutionary War. Oh, Georges Charles, he's got it. There's so much to Haiti that you guys disrespect the charts. Disrespect. So go study up some history. Like I said, if they ban books, so you didn't know the history, you should go check it out, because you guys are all brothers on the island and don't even know it. The only reason things look different is because Spain is on one side, France is sayonara on the other side. That's why things look different. But in reality, at one time, y'all were all one. And we're talking about like 200 years ago, 250, 300. I mean, that's it. It's not like you were one 1,000 years ago, like Europe. Just like 200 and some years ago. and one side's getting invaded. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, there's more to it. I can't get into it tonight because this is crazy. This is real crazy. George's Charles breaking it out. Look up the Battle of Savannah, Georgia, U.S. Revolutionary War. This is why the United States had to invade Haiti, because Haiti fended off France. They actually have military backgrounds. I'm just saying, you guys got to learn the lessons. But all I'm saying is you guys are all one. So both governments, first of all, what I don't get also on the Haiti side is things are in disarray that people want to leave. It's almost like Mexico or Venezuela or any other place, Nicaragua, whatever, where people say, hey, man, the government's so effed up, we got to go because they're not protecting us. They're not making things better. It's the same thing at Haiti's side. They need to get their crap together. But unfortunately, they keep putting in guys that want to be dictators. And they're not even dealing with the situations at all on their side. Nobody from Dominican Republic wants to go migrate into Haiti, probably. Right? That wouldn't be a good thing. It's the other way around. So both countries should be talking, saying, hey, man, we can't support you guys. So here's what you need to do. We can work together, but we got to stop all this so people don't want to leave over there. So maybe one side needs to work with the other. Both sides work together and come up with a plan. But of course, it doesn't work that easy, right? Because everybody wants to somehow take from somebody else instead of saying, hey, man, we're going to make it work. And sure enough, that's where we're at with Dominican Republic and Haiti. It's like ridiculous. Side by side, but can't deal. And one side, people want to leave because no hope, despair, and a bunch of other things, infiltrations and abuse, human rights abuse, civil rights abuses by the world. It's the whole frick. That's what's so sick about it. It's like one of the countries in the world that different places have come to rob them. And all that stuff in the 80s and 90s about sending money, giving I want to say what do you call those? Salvation Army types, sending money to them to go for Haiti, opening up, what do you call those? Religious compounds in Haiti, going over there to help out. All this stuff is all nice and dandy. But the fact of the matter is the government itself is doing things to the citizens, not helping the citizens. And for whatever reason, I'm not building any hotels in Haiti. Let's get real. So we got to have stabilization of some sort. But it's the beautiful thing. They should be doing what the DR is doing. But you got to stabilize the country first. So that should be job number one. Job number two should be those beautiful oceans and beaches of Haiti. You should open them up and you should have the grand hotels of yesteryear there. I'm just saying. It's crazy. It's so crazy. It's like Puerto Rico, the United States. Puerto Rico's a territory. And what does the United States do in Puerto Rico? Same crap. Well, okay, kind of. They don't really do what they should do to Puerto Rico, right? They're not spending the billions. In other words, $40-50 billion. Change Puerto Rico to what it should be, a tourist destination. Give people the right wages. Build up the infrastructure like it's supposed to be instead of looking like crazy stuff after all these years as being the U.S. territory. It's crazy. So the fact you don't want to do that, that leaves things in disarray. The fact that it's a U.S. territory is the only reason it's not like Haiti. The only reason. But it's still dangerous is the point. So it's crazy. And it's also because of the situations in Puerto Rico, we have the similar scenarios that's going to happen in the DR. They're building condos. They're making it better for the rich people. Come over here. You have free tax for X amount of years. Meanwhile, those same people that have money buy up all the cheap stuff. Now the locals can't live there. And then don't want to pay the locals the wages that they deserve. It's sick. Treating your fellow human beings like that is sad. But again, that's why I'm not running things, because they're like, hold on. Eric's going to make things right for everybody. Yes, everybody. Sheesh. All right, here we go. George's Charles, Eric, the weather is changing. They had back-to-back storm. Who knows how the future will look? Yeah, but George's Charles, the temperature went up 1 degree, which means 1 degree warmer in the Gulf means more hurricanes are coming. So we do know. My prediction is every year there's going to be 1 tornado, maybe 2, that's going to touch some part of Florida because of the way the warm water is by Cuba. That's what the problem is. And so it's going to be running, and it's already warm even in the, when we start talking about going down to Aruba and all that is hella warm. But as you come up, it starts going from like, I don't remember, the temperature in Aruba was crazy for me. It seemed like it was like 80 something degree water. But I mean, we could be talking about 80 degree, 81, 82 degree water, and hurricanes thrive on that. Storm systems thrive on that. So it's easier to form a hurricane when your waters are that warm, and they're only going to get warmer. No climate change is happening, shall I say. Those people who don't believe in climate change, then I suggest you go down to Miami, Florida, go to Ocean Drive, and listen. You're going to hear that. You're not going to think nothing of it because you're like loving the sand, wind, air, music that you're listening to in the ride, but you're missing the camouflage pumps that are in green on the corner where a bush is covering it or something. But you listen, they got pumps there already. They've had pumps there already. And in fact, all you have to do is Google and find people in Miami where they have 12 inches of water. They can't sell their houses. But that's not national news. So see, there's stuff going on in Florida that is like people don't really talk about, but it's catastrophic. It's just a matter of time with regards to other dominoes are going to fall. And you're going to have to deal with them when you're losing whole neighborhoods to rising water. And everybody's going to say, well, okay, there's nothing happening. And I'm like, okay, temperatures are rising in the Gulf. You're sinking in essence, no problem. That's crazy. That's real crazy. So you can, and again, I love Brickell. I love all the condos they're making. I've made a few videos about investing in Miami, but at this point, I can't make any more videos about investing in Miami because if I'm buying a condo, I don't even know how much insurance now is going to be. And now they made that new rule. Am I in a 25-year recertification? Am I in a 30-year? Am I in a 40-year recertification? So yes, you can own the home. But once you get to that certification number closer to it, you're going to have people. That's where the question mark comes as to the value of the home. If I know the home is 20 years old and recertification is going to be at 25 years, I am not buying that thing because I know this HOA, unless they've been socking away a lot of money, that recertification is going to cost us millions of dollars. And I'm not talking about 1 million either. So where are they going to get that money from? They're going to get it from the owners of the condo buildings. And people are going to have these $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 special assessment or lose your house or condo. So I just don't see a way out. I just don't. HOA fees have to be a lot because they're going to have to save for the certification from the whole time. Plus, you're going to have cost increases for the energy, the garbage, sewer, water, the insurance fees are going to rise significantly for commercial. I just can't see how this works. We know what the future is going to look like, George's Charles, and especially in Gulf Coast, especially Florida's like #1 spot. If that peninsula wasn't there, stuff would just go right through. But since that peninsula is there, it's going to get hit. There's just no way around it. Victor Morrell, you have to be very selective to pull the insurance trigger. Yep. Once you pull it and do the claim, Be prepared to have your policy increase. That's right. Small claims, especially below your deductible, do it yourself. Yeah, that's how it always has to be. Thank you for that advice. That's great advice right there. Yeah. Some people always said, hey, like something happened with my car and it was like $600-700. And so I was like, okay. And the guy's like, I'll fix it. And then I was like, yeah, my deductible's $500. He's like, I'll pay it. I said, no, you're fixing it, but you ain't paying my deductible because we're not reporting it for my deductible. You're just going to pay the $650-700, whatever it costs. It's not worth it because otherwise my premium's going to increase or they'll cancel me. Simple. Over a little claim. It's crazy. But he's got it on point. This is what's going to happen. Because everybody's had insurance. They've had to use insurance. Then 30 days later, you get a message, cancellation notice. Happens all the time. Victor Moreau, yes, for Conner Rock owners, it's around 110 for the full day from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Oh, that's okay. In food and drinks alone, you will consume that easy. Margaritaville, I think, is lower. That's exactly right. This is why, Victor Marrero, when we talk about real estate investing and doing short-term rentals, this is what I'm talking about as far as you have to know the lay of the land. If you're going to invest in Dominican Republic, there are a ton of all-inclusives. Now, Victor Marrero is an owner. But did they change that, Victor Marrero? Do renters still have to pay the normal one-day passes, or can an owner buy one-day passes at owner rates to give to the renters? Because they already changed the Cana Bay Beach Club so people can go to the beach now without having to pay that $35 or $40 per person money. That was a great move. They needed to do that because that was just wrong. So that was a good move. The next good move would be, I have renters. Here they are. They should be allowed to have the owner rate. If they do that, that changes the whole landscape big time. Although but the reason I say big time is because Victor Marrero already said it. Okay, so he's saying he's going to spend $220 for him and his wife. That's how much it's going to cost from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. Now, well, Hard Rock is special, but okay, they have so many amenities, it's ridiculous. So the water parks, cool. The rock climbing, the golfing, the golf, mini golfs, the basketball, the game room, there's so much stuff. So you have all these amenities, but here's the real deal. If there's two of us, and now I don't have to worry about anything. I'm going to eat breakfast in the morning and have a nice dinner and drinks in the evening. Let's just say I do those two things. The first setting in the morning, I'm staying in Los Corrales. The first setting in the morning might be $35. But the dinner, even in DR, the dinners are no longer cheap, right? If you go to the nicer places, nicest food, I should say, that I like. They're not cheap. So I go to La Bruja. I'm going to be spending roughly 20, 18, 15 entree because I get the ribs, and that's going to be 980 pesos or whatever that is. And then the wife usually gets something, and it's like, I don't know, equally about 850 to 950 pesos. But then you're going to get two drinks. Drinks are now like USA standards. They're all like 8 to 10 to $12. So you get two drinks or two glasses of wine or whatever the case may be per person. Now you're spending another $40-50. So in two meals, I am going to spend let's call it 150, 160 with tips. So now you can sell to people 110 a day. And why can I say that is because you're going to go in there for 2 people and go 220, and you're going to say, yes, I'm going to go eat in the morning. I'm probably going to hang out there. And while I'm there, I'm going to drink, and you're not going to have a cap. You're just going to get one drink. And then 30 minutes later, you'll have another drink or whatever. So it'll add up over the course of the time you're there. Then you're going to go use some of the amenities, which I guess there's a value for that. And you're going to easily spend well more than $200 and some per day. That's all there's just no way. Like I said, I'm getting my gelato. For starters, I'm going to Benihana's, as I call it. That's for sure. I'm going to give me some sushi all during the day. I'm going to the Brazil Steakhouse. I don't remember the name of it. To go get that. All this would easily be $300, $400, $500 because now it's just unlimited and I'm in that place, and all that extra walking around, doing stuff, going to the beach, sitting at the beach, doing whatever, going through the water park, going to do other stuff. I'm burning off fuel. So I'm going to eat, get a little snack. It adds up. So there is a value for it, though. That's what I'm trying to say. But let us know if they changed it. Implicit Triangle, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Cheap viewers at Stream Boo, thank you for that. That looks like a marketer online. Marlon Jordan, I was told Atlanta will be ready by 2026. Do they realize in 3 months it's 2025? They're not. Wait, hold on. Let me read this again. You're talking about Atlanta, the first phase. Okay, Atlanta, the first phase, I believe, is up front. I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. River Island is behind. So, unless it's reverse, it could be reverse. But either way, it could be reverse. But in the brochures, I'm trying to think, the hotel was supposed to be by the commercial zone. You're driving in around this. I can't remember which one's going to be first. But either way, it doesn't even really matter. When you say this, Marlon, you should make sure you're talking apples to apples. Reason why I say that is because, first of all, before I forget, make sure you smash the like button, ladies and gentlemen. And if you like coffee and tea, please order from our own Professor Auntie Val at beachfrontjava.com. Beachfrontjava.com, her and her family, and she's a part of the SSN Nation. Use our promo code if you order for SSN Lifestyle, all one word, all caps. This way, you receive a discount after your first order. You receive a discount for life. Premium blend beans, premium teas. So go order, show some love, and free shipping in the United States. Outside the U.S., you can get it, but of course, you're going to have to pay the shipping fee. All right, just had to say that. Now, you might want to compare apples to apples. Make sure when they say 2026, what are they talking about? What phase of this project are you talking about? Are we going to have sports courts over here like we're supposed to? The sports complex is going to be done. Are we going to have our little lazy river going around? If it's Atlanta, I think they have man-made beaches and all that. Where's the stadium at? Or shall I say, whatever they want to call it. I'll call it a stadium, amphitheater, whatever. What's going to be ready in 2026 is the better question. Because saying Atlanta is going to be ready, I'm thinking all of the units for Atlanta, that's not possible. They're not going to do it in a year and a half. Well, hold on. A year and a half. No, it's only a year and 3 months. It's 2026. So that's not going to happen for January. So what are we talking about here? Because if we go 2 years from now, that'll be 2 years and 3 months. And depending on what happens with this situation with the Haitians, this could get to be very bad. Very, very bad. So that's the question you need to ask. Marlon Jordan, I thought Haiti deportation news was propaganda. No, it's not. Maybe it will be a headline in the news for a week or two and slowly disappear, then back to business. No, man, it's serious. It's serious. The government made an announcement. All of the Dominican people are pretty much on board. There's a little opposition to it. So therefore, they started rounding people up. There's reports already that they went to the North Shore and they were actually hunting people down, literally, to get the Haitians so they can deport them. Literally. So it's for real. It's not propaganda, man. It's going down. But the Haitians apparently have pulled a Uno on them. They said, we already quit. We're going on strike. Now let's see what you do. You want to deport us? We're out here on the picket line. Let whoever you have left here handle this. So I have to talk to people about this again. There were people that made comments on my Dominican Republic Weekly when I first announced it. And a person made a valid point. He says, you know how many people get deported from the United States? So I looked it up. 1.1 million people were deported in 2023 from the United States. That's 0.003. So if you use that 0.003 number and Dominican Republic has 11 million people, that's roughly 34,000 people would be the equivalent. If what I saw was correct. So I'm like, dude, you guys are talking about taking out 10,000 per week. That's a few 100,000 people in a matter of 3-4 months. 5 months is 200,000. So I'm like, that's a significant amount of people if a large percentage of those are in the service or building industry. I don't know what Haitians do when they're, go there. That helps the infrastructure. That's what I'm thinking. So it's pretty serious. Pretty serious. George's Charles, that Victor, what's the ETA on Galaxy? Just what we thought. 2025. But I'm saying before I said December 2025. I think they told him June 2025. We'll see what he says. We'll see what he says. George's Charles, Eric, I wish you could pull it up now and see the Haitian monument in Georgia honoring the soldiers. Okay. Okay. See if I can pull it up. Hey, man, they keep this stuff hidden, right? You have to know what you're looking for. It's in Savannah. It's in Savannah. Franklin Square is where it's at. Okay. Savannah's Haitian Monument. I'm assuming that's the one you're referring to, right? I'm pretty sure that's what you're talking about, right? Hold on a second. In fact, in case people haven't been to Savannah, man, Savannah is beautiful. Just so everybody knows. All right. Okay. I was gonna do a street view, but it's not coming up right, so I'm gonna have to do a different image. Let me see. There's right. Okay. Library of Congress. Yeah, this is why they banned books, by the way. In a lot of places. because they don't want people to know situations that have occurred and things. See if I can make this work. It's not working for me. Here we go. We're not there. Oh, it's a small picture. I don't like that one. Okay, I'll do it this way because apparently this isn't cooperating. But here, you can barely see it here. But this is what he's referring. I think this is what he's referring to, right? Um, yeah, Haitian monument on Franklin Square, which commemorates the contribution of. Okay, we'll do it this way then. We'll do it this way. Chasseur Saint Domingue, Santo Domingo, to the fight for an independent America. All right. Haitian monument, Savannah, Georgia's. Haitian monument on Franklin Square, which commemorates the contribution of the Chasseurs Volontaires de Saint Domingue to the fight for independent America. Okay. So there you go. 1946, by the way. Just so everybody knows. Yeah, this keeps coming up, something I don't really like, but TripAdvisor. Let's do this. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay. So everybody can get a glimpse. You can go actually check it out, but oh, we're having issues, I see. Okay, fine. I'm going to share this tab then. Here we go. You can see it up close. Georgia. Before they could be legal citizens or exercise their inalienable rights, they fought and often died for the benefits of the United States. Yeah. Okay. Savannah's Haitian monument. That's what this is right here. In case you're here. Santo Domingue or Saint Domingue. French colony of Saint Domingue were free men who fought out of a sense of patriotism. So anyhow, the soldiers recruited from present-day Haiti, just so everybody's not confused. Then the French colony of Saint Domingue were free men who fought out of a sense of patriotism. All right? So there you go. Again, there's so many people that have died for the United States. It's just a damn shame. So now when somebody says they're eating cats, they're eating dogs, they're eating pets and all that BS, that is offensive. Now you understand why people have a certain way that they think about this. That's offensive. And to me, it's offensive, quite frankly. That only puts in a sense of that scares people into doing certain things against somebody else that they're not even doing. That's not a good thing. So that has done a lot to immigrants. That's done a lot to the others. So when the Irish came over, it was done to them. When the Italians came over, it was done to them. So it's not like this is not a thing, but this is a trope that has been used in America for hundreds of years. Whoever the immigrants were claimed to, that came in, that were claimed to be, people were saying these same type of things. Even though in the case of the United States, there's actually people who fought with the United States from other countries, and then the United States turns their backs on them and says, "You're immigrants, we hate you." That is a problem. That's a human problem. This is the stuff we're talking about with regard to Dominican Republic and Haiti being an island of one before anything else, before the split between Dominican Republic and Haiti, only 200 and some years ago. That's crazy when you think about it. Crazy. So hopefully you saw it. I don't know. I was in the background, but as George's Charles got a video today from Colorado Galaxy, I'm supposed to close between March and July, but I doubt it. I like the advances, but the detailed termination will take longer. Yeah, I think I think December 2025 is the likelihood. Drinks they range from like $8 to $12 depending on what you get. Well, they probably more than that, but a simple one. Oh, that's probably, I don't know. What's that going to be? 500 pesos or something? Maybe 450. It's not that much. Not that much. That's the reason I love La Bruja. One is the prices, because it's not, if La Bruja was in downtown like Noah, then all the prices would be $7 to $10 more. Instead of me paying 950 pesos, 980, 890, whatever, they're going to be like 12 something, man. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be 1200, 1300, and they're going to make the portion smaller. All right, George's Charles and Victor, how many stories have they built? I think they're like at the top, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what he says, if he knows. It looks like all the floors have been built except, I believe, the penthouse restaurant. It's the final terminations like doors, glass, pool, etc. What takes time. Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, March I'm pretty sure is out for sure. July I would seriously doubt, and especially in lieu of, if these guys don't come back to the table. Like, okay, you can withstand the strike over the weekend. Why do I say that? Because if you guys don't know, most builders can only build between on Saturday 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Sunday you can't do anything at all building wise. So the strike is almost like they get to go home, and we'll see what happens Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't know when the strike started, but if it didn't start until today or yesterday, then it's pointless. But on Monday, Tuesday, 3 days, 4 days, watch what happens. Maybe they'll just round them up and say, thank you for your whatever you've done. We're taking you. Now the businesses and developers are going to be holding the bag. And that in turn means the buyers are going to be holding the bag, because you have sent your payments, you've sent your money in, and your project's going to be held up indefinitely. As long as they're on strike, unless Dominicans are going to fill that role, or expats or whoever's over there is going to fill that role, stuff may be sitting. Especially, again, it does you no good to sit there and get deported, right? Victor, do you have a video? All right, Trucker Trey in the house. Welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night live stream. Thank you so much for being here. And hopefully, Financial Freedom Coach 7's in the house. I see you over there at Instagram. Make sure, everybody, you go over to Instagram. We just hit almost our record. 919 followers has been the record. Yes, we've been over there for 3, 4, 5 years maybe. But every time we hit 918 or 919, for whatever reason, all of a sudden the ticker goes back to 914, 915, 913, somewhere like that. They take off 4 or 5 people. This happens all the time. So let's see if we can get to 920 or more, and then we'll see what happens on Monday. See if they do their usual thing. I find it very interesting, but I see everybody here. So thank you so much once again for being in the house on Instagram, and make sure you hit the follow, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, like those with the icon, then please join the channel. That'd be greatly appreciated. And once again, Trucker Trey, thank you for being in the house this evening. Greatly appreciated. Now, let's get back to the business at hand. Passive income ideas. One used to be real estate. It used to be short-term rentals. But now cities, governments, counties they're all sitting there saying, well, we may or may not want to have it. You're going to have to jump through hoops in a lot of cities. So in the case of the worst case, banning altogether, that would be a problem. The other case is doing something like what they did in Palm Springs or San Bernardino County, where they came up with this, wow, the worst, one of the worst ones of all. Yes, you can do short-term rentals, but you can only do X amount per year. How crazy is that? I'm like, are you serious? And the X amount isn't something like 50 or 60. It's something like single digits, 5 or 6. You're not going to be making money. So it ranges on what cities, states, countries, counties are going to do with Airbnb. They're trying to protect their hotel industry if you're in a tourist hotspot. That's what the DR is going to do as well. America does that. They started doing it as well. And you have to have the integrity of the residential neighborhood. So as long as people buy it like Atlanta and it's built as a condo that you can rent out, then it's fine. But when you build a normal neighborhood that's residential and all of a sudden there's let's call it 20 homes on the street, and 5 of those 20 homes have renters, and every weekend you're hearing loud music, 10 to 20 people are showing up, putting their cars on the street, blocking your driveways, doing all this mayhem, you're going to feel a certain way. And that's why people call. Then the city and county start saying, hey, we got to restrict this stuff. This is crazy, or put in rules. So this is what's going to continue to happen. So if you're going to be in the real estate investing business and you want to do short-term rentals, you're going to have to do a hell of a lot of research, because it's no longer the wild, wild west where you can just buy property and go, I'm going to do short-term rentals. You better make sure your HOA, if you have one, that they allow it in the first place. You just can't roll in there thinking, oh, there's Airbnbs in the city, I'm going to be good. No, you may not be good. You better call the HOA or check with the HOA. Hey, if I buy a place here, I want to do Airbnb. Is that going to be okay? Because if an HOA says we're not doing it, it doesn't really matter what the city and state says. So keep that in mind. You vote at a HOA property. All right. So this is why you have to win. But now it's being very, very technical on how you're going to win. You're going to have a runaway stock market. Okay, that's great. But you have to understand, markets are going to go up, they're going to go down. It's that simple. Are you going to be in the market? And if it goes down, are you going to be in the market? And here we are today. Dow jumps 400 points to a record on Friday. Haven't we talked about this on the earlier part of this video? If you missed it, I was telling people about the last video I made about stock buybacks on Wednesday. I said it does not make any sense if you know $300 billion from the top 5 companies are going to buy that much in the next 3 years of their stock, which are heavily weighted on the stock market indexes. Doesn't that mean you should have an index fund like a VOO, a VOOG, a VTI? Yes, that's what it means. All 3 of those that I just mentioned, all 30 plus year over year. If I take October of last year to October of this year, 32% on one, 35% on another, 38% increase in prices on the other. And some of these actually give you off some dividends. So just keep in mind, you can make, if you don't want to buy individual stocks, you can buy ETFs. And so therefore, if you know those 5 companies are going to do stock buybacks, then you should be thinking their prices should probably go up. Boeing to cut 17,000 jobs as losses deepen during factory strike. Damn, Boeing is taking a badass hit. Nvidia, no biggie, 134. Tesla down huge, $20 because of their fake robo taxi event, which they should have just left out the robo taxi, and they should have left out their fake, robots. They are not ready for prime time, and that was pathetic. And that the price shows it because people finally realized he's scamming me. They finally realized this dude has been doing this stuff for so long that robo taxi and that robots he was talking about in 2017, 2018, saying it'll be done in 2 years, getting subsidies, tax cuts, tax breaks. Then 2 years ago, oh, it'll be done in 2 years, taking tax cuts, tax breaks, subsidies. Now again, he throws this event and says, oh, in 2 years, I'll have this stuff. And it's like, I'm like, dude, do you know how far you're behind the rest of the world right now? You're just being helped by the United States government. If there was actually competition from outside the US, you'd be like screwed right now because there'd be cars here in America that are robo taxis that they use in other countries. And also they have them cheaper for an electric vehicle, half of the price. This would be even after a tariff situation. That's what's crazy. So when people say a $39,000 car, 19,000 in, for instance, in China, you can do 100% tariff and get $40,000 here in America, and people will be like, "Are you serious right now?" This is what we're talking about. This self-protection BS that the U.S. has and calls themselves a capitalist system. They don't want to compete with the rest of the world. Meanwhile, United States citizens, you're losing. Because I'm going to say, in reality, if the EV vehicles were faster charged, this would be it'd be a gold mine. There'd be no reason to have gas cars. It'd be, I mean, there'd be a reason if you like them, but the point is, if you could charge in like 5 minutes or less, and you could go like, well, on the highway, you could actually just go 300 miles. That'd be decent, 350 on a highway. In the city, these EVs are awesome because they regenerate. They recharge when you hit the brakes or take your foot off the gas altogether. They regenerate so you can go a lot further in the city. It's when you go out and drive one way with no regeneration, that's when you're like, uh-oh, where's the EV charging station? And then present situation is the EV charging station, you'll be there an hour. So when you drive, you're going to waste an hour of charging, even on the fast chargers. And it better not be wintertime because you may run into where chargers don't even work. So that's where the problem comes in. It's like ridiculous for me. All right. So all-time record high, ladies and gentlemen. We know that the S&P 500 is going to get to 6,000. You know this. So if you're on the stock market indexes, come on. What are you guys waiting for? I have the Robinhood and Webull apps down below to open up your brokerage account. You don't have $134 to buy NVIDIA. You don't have the $400 to do the VOO, VOOG, VTI. Fine. You can buy partial shares on both of those apps. Their links are down below. And by the way, if anybody's in crypto, I also have down below Unstoppable Domains. I recommend everybody go to the Unstoppable Domains because you never know what crypto is going to do, and buy your own .crypto, .nft, .x type of extensions where you can put a simple website on there right now. It's on the blockchain. And that also means you have total freedom because nobody can take it down unless the blockchain went down. So if this ever turns into where you can use a website, it's a one-time fee, not annual like a normal .com website, and you can accept crypto. So if you say ericbird.crypto and I need to send you crypto, I'm not giving you my alphanumeric character. I'll just say send it to ericbird.crypto. And yes, that's my crypto. SSN, stop struggling now.crypto. That belongs to me. SSN lifestyle.crypto also belongs to me. Stop struggling now.nft belongs to me. So all I have to do is give you any one of those and say, okay, you want to send me crypto? That's it. ericbird.crypto. I have that too. So all I'm saying, plus variations, because they were so cheap at the beginning, they were $10. Some of them were $5. They still, some are like 10, 15, 20, 25. X, I don't have. X was $100, which I had no reason to do X. But the point is, I just got some simple ones. So that way, if it ever becomes a thing, that I can use it to actually do transactions relatively easy and tie it into being able to go and buy something like our gear at stopstrugglingnow.com and go to the merchandise page. You can buy gear. If there's ever something that makes it into the mainstream where I can attach it to where people can pay me, like just like a credit card, and it's in the platform, in the plugin, that would be sweet. Because then people could just send it, right? You can already do it, but I didn't want to do this after effect. I want people to be able to log into their MetaMask or into their wallet and be able to do the transaction, just like when you do PayPal and they say, okay, log in. And then once you log in, then you make payment, or you can go directly to the credit card feature. That's what I'm waiting for to work out a lot better for crypto. If they had that, I'd have that plug-in at stopstrugglingnow.com, but I don't. But if you have Apple Pay, Google Pay, PayPal, credit card, you can make payments for merch. So go get your merch, stopstrugglingnow.com. This merch, I don't know if it's out there, but I'll have to add. I'm going to be adding some more merch also, just so you guys know, hats as well. So here we are. So everybody can see this. So you guys can see this here. Look at this. Dow jumps 400 points to a record on Friday at 42,000. Who doesn't love this? Victor Marrero, everybody. Brian P., Mr. Dividend, everybody. Georges, Charles, you guys, Yahweh J., Laverne, Penix, Mr. and Mrs. Cool, all the people in the stock market should be, man, it should be a party out here. I told you it's 1920. I keep seeing some guys on YouTube, which I don't understand, that's saying that this is going to be a crash, an epic crash of biblical proportions. I just don't see it. There's too many of these top companies doing stock buybacks, so the indexes are going to allow you to make money. I mean, look at these movements. It's ridiculous right now. I mean, the way this is going, it should go over the next 3 years. I'm expecting, hell, S&P 500 is going to be like 6,500 to $7,000. And the Dow Jones is probably going to be probably approaching 50 in 3 years if things keep going this way. This is crazy. And look at this announcement right here. This right here, stock market positive. The Federal Reserve may have pretty much just hit its 2% inflation target. I'm sure they did. So this means interest rate decrease incoming in December for sure, right? Okay. So that is also going to spur stock market positive. So I'm still not understanding how spending a few $100 billion across the spectrum of all stocks, when they're doing that much in stock buybacks, how the stock market's going to collapse. I just don't see it. There's going to be some stocks, of course, that's going to collapse, but that's just the way it is. Like Boeing right now, I'm curious what happened with them. They're not even on the list. Oh, here we go. The U.S. bond is 4%. What did I tell you? Oh, on Wednesday night, I told people, I said, hey, the bond's going to be at 4. I would not be surprised if they increased it, because the United States has all this funding that they must meet. This is one way they can get it. So they're doing a 10-year treasury bond at 4.1%, 4.096. So, and so people will pay that. People will give money for 4% return. Clearly. All right. So just keep those things in mind. Uber. That's interesting. Fast. Granger. Wow. Granger. This is interesting. If that's Granger, I didn't know they actually were on the stock market. I wonder if it's the same one. Tools and all that. Working moms are still more likely to handle childcare. It costs them $20,000 a year in lost wages. There you go. See, this is what needs to be handled for every American. It's working moms is also working dads. If you have a childcare scenario that can be handled, by the government and make it make sense, such as, I know this is our subject matter, unrealized capital gains for people that have $100 million in stocks, in homes, corporations that buy up homes and they spend $250 million. Thank you. Give me my 28% tax. I like it because these guys literally make all this money off the backs of society. This is not like, it's not like they don't have employees. Like Boeing right now just laid off 17,000 people. These 17,000 people are going to go down to the unemployment office and worry about, hopefully it covers their bills, right? And after they get off of unemployment, then what? They got to find a job. If they don't get hired, obviously, and they probably won't, but some of them will not. Now you have to find another job, and you're hoping it pays the same or better. But that's a problem, a big problem. So you have to think about, there's gives and takes. But 17,000 people not having a nice Boeing paycheck, Jesus, that's millions of dollars every month that is not going to be put out there into the marketplace of the United States government. That's a bad thing. All right, here we go. We got somebody with coffee in the house. Coffee with Kelvin. Welcome to the SS. Kelvin, welcome to the SSN Nation Financial Friday Night Live Stream. Here we go. Hello, sir. I reserved a pre-construction project in Vistacana. Oh, man, you can't leave us hanging like this. Give us the name of the project, Coffee. Please. They currently delayed 12. Oh, what? Delay. Whoa, tell us this project. I want withdraw my 40% deposit. Okay, Coffee with Kelvin. Did you just say, wait, when did you find out about this? Okay. I get excited when I hear this type of news. Let me know what exactly we're talking about here. I need to know. What are we talking about? I'm going to get this off screen. Let me know what we're talking about here. First of all, Coffee, hopefully you're still here. Let me know what project you're talking about inside Vistacana, so everybody who bought at this place knows there's a 12-month delay. And second of all, when did you find out about a 12-month delay? Because that also matters. Did you find out about 12-month delay like this month, or did you know about it like 5 months ago? And second, I want to withdraw my 40% deposit. Thoughts? Well, after you tell me what the status is of the project that you bought at, I need to know more details. And then I'll tell you at least my advice. Because you said I reserved a pre-construction project, so I need to know when you did. If this is new, because if it's new and you can't live with the timeline, then obviously I'm getting my money back. I mean, well, I should put it this way. Everybody has their own circumstance. The bottom line of the story is I need a drink right now and I'll get back to you. But I'm going to put on a little promo that we have for SSN Lifestyle. This is why you want passive income. This is why you want real estate. This is why you want the runaway stock market, because you need income coming in. You don't know how much the future is going to cost you, how much your expenses are. You can't game plan for that. All you know is you're going to need more money later. All right. So I'll give you my thoughts on this in a second, but hopefully you're still here, Coffee, because I want to know exactly what you're referring to, and make sure everybody who's on Instagram, follow the channel, please. We're trying to get over 920. Every time we get to 918, 919, bad things happen. All right. So that's what I want to, let you know. Go over there, show some love. So hopefully Coffee with Kelvin can let us know some more information on timing. When did you reserve? What project is it? When is delivery supposed to be? How much have they done already? And a 12-month delay, when did that 12 months start? I know there's 4 things. Hopefully you can remember them. So we'll get back to that after this little short SSN Lifestyle. Let me see which one. I don't know which one was on the thing. Okay, we have the poker. I know. What is this one? Okay, that's Napa Valley. So let me pick. I mean, yeah, I don't know which one it was, unfortunately. Okay.
Come on, come on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, if you're interested in real estate, we're coming to the Punta Cana Investors Forum, December 2nd, 3rd, 4th. We're going around. So make sure you're there. By 10 a.m., we're leaving from Los Corrales, but we have tickets at ssnlifestyle.com. We're going to see lawyers the first day, just so everybody knows. So if you want to find out anything from a lawyer, there's no additional cost. They're there for us. They ask what they answer the questions. We could be there 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. Ask away for everything. People ask about business. If I get a business, they ask about residency, immigration. They ask about this question right here that Kelvin's asking, all kind of things, right? What's the law on confiture now, and all kind of things. We have to check because they changed the law on confiture. Okay. Not recent, not like yesterday, but what I'm saying, when we were there in May, they changed it to where you have to have a hotel. In order to have confiture, the project has to have a hotel. That's a new change, whereas before that wasn't the thing. So you just never know what's going to happen. So you have to be on point on all of this. There's a rapidly changing situation when it comes to real estate investing in the Dominican Republic. All right, so let's see. Coffee with Kelvin. Tell me you're still here. I want to know about this. I can answer your question more than likely, but I want to know exactly of what these are. Because if I don't, well, right now I don't know the answer to what I need. Okay, here we go. I'll just say they're delayed 12 months. I want to withdraw my 40% deposit. Any thoughts? If you're with Epic, okay, that means the Panorama family, Panorama Garden, Panorama Lake, Panorama Park, Epic, then you're going to be good. You'll get your money back. Okay, ask for it back if that's what you want. The other part where you're saying currently delayed 12 months, I don't know when the 12 months started. But let's just say it, you just reserved something 2-3 weeks ago. So the thing is, it's up to you. And it's also, I'll do it two things. It's up to you if you can live with the delay. That's the first part of the equation. The second part of the equation is, what does your contract say with regard to cost increase? Any delay means your cost increase is going to go up. So if your contract says up to 10%, up to 15%, up to 20%, or the latest iteration has been ICDV. That's what they use for the housing inflation index, okay, in the Dominican Republic. They don't use the central bank inflation number. They use ICDV, the cost of materials for the housing industry. Okay, so just make sure you understand. That's the one they go by in these contracts. Some places will say, okay, we'll cover 3%, 3.5%. No additional cost up to 3.5%, let's say. After 3.5% annually, you pay the difference. So if someone comes out, which if there's a delay, there's going to be the price of materials are going to go up year over year. Let's just get real. So if they come up with, let's just use a number. This is just an arbitrary number. If they say it's 8%, That means up to the 3.5 you don't owe. 8% means you owe 4.5%. For every 100,000, that's $4,500. So when somebody says it's delayed and it might take me another 2-3 years to build for 4 years, you may be subject to an additional cost. Let's just say 4,500. Then another year it might be 2,500. Then another year, you just don't know. It could be a hurricane comes through. Now the cost of all this stuff goes up 20%. Now they send you a thing saying, hey, ICDV 1 came out in January or February, because it's every year it comes out January or February. And they say, look, this ICDV number is 20%. You're going to have to pay 16.5% more. So per 100,000. So that's significant money that, again, any delay and you have that contract that allows them to increase the price, it's great for them. They don't care about delay at that point, because any delay in the cost price that goes up, they just send you a number saying, hey, some people will add the extra fee into your monthly payments. Others, which is the worst one, in my opinion, is that we'll add it at the back end. Okay, the reason why I say it's the worst one is because if I have a 10, this ain't gonna happen, but I'll just use this example. I have a 10, 40%, 10% down, 40% during construction, 50% on delivery. So I've done all that. I put my 40% down, and I'll use 100,000 again. So I put 40,000 down. I owe 60. The bank and my contract says 100,000. I owe 50,000. Sorry. Now all of a sudden, they say, Eric, you'll know that you're over. So let's just use my examples: 4,500, 2,500, $7,000, and then let's just say another year it's $2,000. All right, so we're gonna 9,000 more. So now we owe 59,000 that we have to get a loan from the bank for. This means now we have to worry about, or pseudo wise, we probably won't, but we have to worry about the appraised value that the bank, or the value that the bank's going to give me for my loan pack. So what's happened in the past is the banks used to only give you whatever your contract said. So that extra 9,000 would have to come out of your pocket on the other side of closing or during closing. So they go, I'm sorry, we only are going to loan you that 50,000, but you owe 9,000 more. So now you have to come out of pocket 9,000 plus other closing costs potentially, if this doesn't have comforture, which would be 3% of the value. So that's $12,000 at closing. And you got to pay, well, in some cases, you might have a lawyer that you might have after the fact or things like that. So there's several factors that what you're asking depends on a lot. But for me, I'll give you a perfect example. Larimar, I invested in. I made payments to Larimar up until now 2021, 2022, 2023. So I got in Larimar actually in 2022. So I paid for 1 year. Was my last payment probably, I can't remember. I don't think I paid him in March. So my last payment was probably January. I just can't remember at this point. But there's a reason, because we were there in November of last year for another SSN Lifestyle Punta Cana Investors Forum. Everybody go to ssnlifestyle.com if you'd like to come. But the point is, and go get more information. Join us. So in November, they said, hey, we're going to have in our face. George's Charles was there. He'll tell you. They told us in our face, Oh, next month, we think we're going to have our permits and all this, that, and the other. We'll have our permits. We should start building. So we took them at their face value. Why would they lie to us? Because we're leaving the island. That's why. So now I come back in January. So I go see them and I'm like, hey, it's January. So did anything happen in December? I'm sorry, I got it backwards. I went back in December and it was the middle of December. And I said, hey, so what's going on? You guys said it while we were here, November 5th, I think it was. I said, what do you think is going to happen? Oh, well, we still got that one piece of paperwork that we're waiting on and we still can't start building yet. So maybe January. So, okay, I show back up in January. Same story, same song and dance. I said, okay, this has been 2021, 2022. I'm sorry, 2022, 2023, and now it's 2024. So I'm like, I'm not feeling what you're saying anymore because something's not right. So what is it? You guys can't get your permits? You can't get what's the holdup? They would never say. I'm going to fast forward till July 23rd. All of a sudden we find out this whole time they've been waiting on their environmental impact license on freaking 800 acres. I was like, this blows me away. Because an environmental impact license goes with certain things like floral, fauna, species that are endangered. You have to move those. You can't just mow them down. You can't just remove them, kill them, animals, if there's animals or birds. You have to actually either leave them and build around, or you have to move them into a like habitat on your other piece of property. I was just like, dudes, that would have been awfully nice to mention that you're getting an environmental impact report. Well, I haven't really talked to them other than give me my money back. Because I stopped paying them and I sent them a letter. It was probably March. I can't remember exactly now because it doesn't really matter. I said, give me my money back. They have not. Needless to say, I don't promote them or talk about them anymore other than about this situation right here. They will not extend people's contracts because their delivery date was September 2025. Then they said, December 2025. I was like, I don't really care what you're saying. You're not building 18-story towers in a year and a half at that point. Almost a year and 8, 7, 9 months. It's not going to happen because you have to build more than one. You have to build 3 at least just to start. And you're supposed to be building 5. You're not building 5 of anything in a year and 8 months, 9 months. So I'm even more pissed. You lied to me. So I find out in July it's an environmental impact license. Now, also, we already know they can't build for 3 to 6 months, best case scenario at Larimar, because it takes 3 to 6 months, best case scenario, to get your permits. We have a guy right now in Sosua, a member of the SSN Nation. He's going to be going on 9 months waiting for his permit. And he's not building nothing like Larimar. Nothing. All he's building is some commercial property. I can't remember if it's a condo building that holds 6, 8 condos, or if it was a commercial building. All I know is 8, 9 months for that permit in Sosua, whatever that province is. So I'm not expecting these guys to do theirs in 3 to 6 months either. So now their permit can't even, best case scenario generally probably would be February of 2025. Clearly they can't deliver. Clearly they won't do the right thing. Instead of them going, okay, we're going to extend everybody's contract, we're going to give you an extra 2 years, because I said 18 months at the time, but now I'm like, you might as well give everybody a 2-year extension, because even in 2 years it won't be built. That's how crazy this is. Even in 2 years it won't be built. The first phase I'm referring to, not the whole first and second phase. So And that also runs into the second phase buildings that were supposed to be built in 2026. They're not even going to be able to build the first buildings by 2026, let alone the second one. So now they're going to be on the hook for 7 or 8 buildings. And it's going to, they're 18 floors high. So 18 floors high, that's 100 floors in X amount of time. And now you have this Haitian situation going on, deporting hundreds of thousands potentially. If that does happen, then now what? Where are you going to get the workers from? Now everybody's going to have a worker shortage. And if Coffee Kevin is telling us about a shortage, then I think there's going to be other shortages around the whole area, the whole island. Quite frankly. Agree. Many of the so-called market experts have been talking about crashing and burning, and the market isn't paying. Those that follow that advice aren't making any money. Exactly. Because I'm looking at, like we were saying here, Victor Morel, you're getting dividends, right? Every week. We don't really care what the market's doing with that regard. But if you know there's going to be trillions of dollars of stock buybacks with stocks that are on the stock market indexes, it's kind of like, why are you betting against the market at that point? Because we know they're buying back their own shares of stock. The odds of them, their stocks going down is slim. And if those stocks are the FANG stocks, the Facebooks, the Amazons, the Nvidias, the Googles, what's the other? Alphabet. I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy to bet against these guys who are going to put in $300+ billion buying back those 5 companies themselves. That's crazy to bet against them. Plus the other companies that I didn't even look up, but there's a list at tipranks.com that you can go look up the buybacks. It's hundreds of companies, thousands of companies. It's not what you guys think. And here's the other point. Some of these companies are little known companies that these big boys buy up. And that's a whole nother ball game that increases the stock price value. And it gets crazy. So I just can't see that happening. I don't understand this implosion. This would have to be something that's never happened before, because the Federal Reserve is going to reduce the interest rate in December. So, wait. Yeah, probably December, because I think it'll be December. But he made a warning today, and they might just have a meeting next month and do it. Who knows? But the point is, that's the thing right there with the stock market. All right. Again, Unstoppable Domains down below in the description box. Also, Robinhood, Webull, go get those down below in the description box. Those are stock market apps for beginners, stock market apps for intermediate, stock market apps for the professionals, because they give you perks. Everybody likes perks. If you're going to be sending money and doing trades or doing anything, you want perks, right? So go over there and use the links down below, please, because of course they're affiliate links. That helps me out, helps out the channel, or become a member of the channel, like some of those with the icon, like Victor Morel. Coffee with Kelvin must have just came and left. I was waiting for that answer because I wanted to know this project is going to do 12 months delay. Good God. Coffee. If it makes you feel any better, all our projects at Punta Cana have been delayed. If you withdraw, it will be hard to find something later at same price just to consider. Victor Morel, very wise. That is one of the other pieces of information that we need to talk about. The prices in the Dominican Republic are rising. Inside Vistacana, you can still get relatively reason. The deals are still 250,000 and less is what I tell people to buy at if you're going to buy. Those $250,000 properties are coming up less and less. I will say this. If they do a strike, or if the Haitians are removed that work, if a lot of them work for these developers, and the developers are talking about 12-month delays, I think we'll see some sort of decline in prices for the pre-constructions. That's all I can think. But that's going to be at the detriment to the developers. So that, I guess, off the top of my head, I guess they won't do it. Which means these properties are going to be sitting because they're not going to be selling. And there's no way properties are going to be able to increase their prices for pre-construction if they're not selling. I mean, you can, but you're going to sell one here, one there, and you're not going to be selling 10 or 15 or 20 a month. Not at 300,000 when you can buy houses almost anywhere in America for 300,000. I mean, you have a lot of choices. You can go to any island. You can go to Costa Rica, Belize. You can go to Mexico. You can go to Philippines. You can go to Thailand. I mean, if you're going to spend 300,000, you better go to a place that you know for a fact that you're going to make money if you're doing short-term rentals. The Dominican Republic right now, you don't know what the hell's going to happen. Because if this Haitian situation, if they do what they're doing, and that means that Dominicans who feel they should be getting paid more, and they have to pay them more for whatever reason, I find that hard to believe. But let's say, I live in a different world, Twilight Zone, and developers are going to pay more to the workers just out of the kindness of their heart. That means the price of you're going to have the trigger. You're going to have a trigger that's going to say, okay, price increase. And the price of goods and services are going to rise after the delay. So again, we're back at price increases. So you thought you were buying something at 300,000 or 250,000 or 200,000, 150,000. But after 4 years goes by, 5 years goes by, and a 30% increase or something, what are you going to do? And like Victor Morel points out, if you withdraw, the prices are going up. So the price is pretty much whether, like I was given the off the top of my head, I'm thinking about, okay, if the Dominicans don't they don't join in the workforce, and now things can't get built and they're sitting there, what are the developers going to do? It's almost kind of like Vegas. You guys probably don't know, but you guys know there's a Fontainebleau in Las Vegas. The Flamingo that was kind of like the starter for the Vegas from Benny Bugsy Siegel. Is that right, Bugsy? Yeah. They had the same situation, but a different way. Cost overrun. They didn't have enough money to keep building it out. So it had to sit. They needed more money. He had to go asking for more money from the worst people on the planet, the mob. Can't pay it back. You're dead. But that's the situation here. They're going to have cost overruns. And now what do? You can't win because you can't go back to the drawing board and say, hey, those condos we were selling for 150,000, they're 75 grand now, so we can get something moving. But now the cost to make this is more, so we can't charge 75 grand. We really have to charge 250. And that's where the problem's going to come in. So we're going to be stalled because you're not going to have enough money unless the unthinkable happens. You go from 11, well, let's call it 8.5. So you go from 8.5 to 9 million tourists by air this year. And somehow in 3 years from now, you keep adding 1 million. So in 3 years from now, you have 12 to 13 million visitors by air coming. So you have enough tourists to buy, and you have enough tourists that makes it profitable where they can raise the price because there's going to be demand. But if you have a lot of projects that's sitting there and there's no demand, I just don't see how you have buyers at the higher price. That's all. I mean, it's an economics thing at this point, and they're messing with fire. They started messing with fire, which the people of DR wanted. They said, we don't want Haitians around. But that's fine. Citizens can believe whatever they want to believe. But the second part to this is, are you going to be able to replace the workforce? And the third part to this is, if you're not going to be able to replace the workforce, then that means you're automatically stopping a lot of, you're having delays, like Coffee has said, 12-month delays. So that means your project's not going to be built for, we're back to the 5-7 year situations, which means 2030, 2031, 2032. And the worst part is the same thing that happened now. The money that you gave these guys could have been sitting at a VOO, a VTI, VCR, VOOG, and on a bull run for 3 or 4 years. You gave these people 40 grand, 20 grand. You could have had that sitting somewhere making, like NVIDIA right now. You could have, I'll give you a perfect example right now, ladies and gentlemen. Let's use a real situation. So let's just grand, because that could be a down payment. $10,000 divided by $91. I have 109 shares. All right. So these 109 shares went from $91. This is NVIDIA, by the way. It was $91 on the dip 3-4 months back. Now it's 130. Well, okay, I'll use 134. I don't remember. So 134 times 109. $1,600. $4,000 in a few months is what you would have made. Over the course of the next 3 years, while you're paying them $1,500 per month. Now, start thinking about this. $1,500 per month times 36. That's going to be $54,000 over the course of the next 3 years. But it's hard to break it down, because after the down payment, you're doing things monthly or quarterly or every other month. But the point I'm trying to get to is, let's just use the 1,500 by itself. And if we do 1,500 by itself, and all of a sudden we get a, I don't know, 5%, that would be too much. That'd be over 60. Let's just say it has to be like, I'm not going to get crazy, 2%. All right. That's $30. All right. So let's just say it went up 2% per month or whatever, but you have dividends that you could be getting 10% per month, 15% per month, 5% per month. But I'm being this is $360 a year that you would be getting also. And you're also getting overall, that would be $1,400. You'd be making, you would have doubled your money in like a year, damn near, with the way the situation is going right now. That's when I mean, 10,000 to 20. Meanwhile, you're giving these guys 15 and earning no money. And you could be 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line, and they're holding 70 grand. And that 70 grand would have been 200 grand if you had to wait 5 years. That's all the numbers don't make any sense. So you have to figure out, are you willing to wait 5 years? Like me, I've come to realize that Larimar, I don't believe is going to be built up until this situation with, we don't know, with the Haitians and the workforce. Basically, it has nothing to do with the Haitians. It has to do with the workforce. If Dominicans are going to go replace the Haitians, then we have the workforce. But that's a whole nother issue. But my point is, right now, I'm thinking 2028 for Larimar. Without the strike, without any problems. Because they can't build until 2025. I'm thinking 1 or 2 buildings might be down by 2028. Do you know how that's from 2022 to 2028 to wait for 2 or 3 buildings? That's what I'm looking at. 51 stories, 36 months, 1 floor a month, and that still won't cut it. So I just don't see how this works. And now he's telling me, I wish Coffee with Kelvin would come back and talk to me about this. This is alarming. I need to know the project. I hope somebody makes a video about it. But I could have sworn this little image with Coffee, this looks like Kelvin. This looks like the guy that was looking. Oh, I thought this might be him. I thought this might be him. I think he's the guy I met at La Bruja, and then he was at Punta Cana Solutions, because that's where you were looking at something. I wish I could remember what the project was. The image looks like the guy. Oh man, I can't remember the project. It could have been Herbe. It could have been Herbe Lux. Damn. Too bad. Coffee with Kelvin. I'm looking at the image. I wish I could see the image a little better. But Victor Morel's made very good points as well. It's all up to you. Like I said, Larimar's holding. I actually, I don't even know. I should go look. I think they're holding 17. I paid up 17,000. I think that's what I paid. I think I never even looked it up, but I think I only paid 17,000. And I'm in one of the lucky things. It's 10% down, 30% for delivery. That's my program. But I stopped paying. Like, it's been 6 months at least, maybe even 10. It's either 10 or 6. But I'm not sending them any more money because I'm like, I'm not willing to. You know how much money you're missing out on? Seriously. The 17 grand that they are holding is worth damn near double by the year. It would have been double that value. I would have made 35 to 40K or more while they're sitting around lying to people and not doing the right thing. So they should give everybody at this point 48-month extension. Quite frankly, there's no reason to even give 18 months anymore. It might as well just be 48 months. And they should put a caveat, because they can do it. They should put a caveat saying, okay, we'll give you the extra payments. Everybody's going to go yippee, yippee. And then they should put the caveat. If we deliver before that time, then all remaining amount is due. And that give the people the choice. If people still want to stay on their pseudo payment plan and don't mind finishing up their payments in 2025, 2026, and waiting an additional 2 years, that's on them. Other people may want to wait 4 years, like me. I'd be like, thank you very much, man. Because I'm not thinking you're delivering in 2028. I mean, 2026, 2027. I'll take that bet. Just like they wouldn't take the $5,000 bet. So all I can say is, everybody, smash the like button, the follow button, wherever you are. Smash those buttons. Make sure. All right. And I want to see this Coffee with Kevin. I wish he would have told me. I think I know who this is. Cool guy. Looking at the image, I think I know who this is. Coffee with Kelvin. Oh man, come on. Let's go look real quick. I know this is a long live stream, but I want to thank everybody for being here this evening. And everybody, if you're watching this on the replay or watching this on a live, make sure you go to Instagram. Go sign up at stopstrugglingnow.com. We have other social media platforms. Use the link down below at the very bottom and get all of our social media, because we're going to start ramping this up now. We're going to start being a YouTuber. All right. A little bit more crazy. And go to stopstrugglingnow.com and get some of our gear. Show some support. There's only a few people that have the gear. Members of the channel, if you're a member for a year, remember you should have received your gear about 5 or 6 months back. All right. If you have not, well, all those that have, you know, you got them. If you are a member for a year and you did not send me any information about getting your gear and it wasn't sent to you earlier this year, then you do qualify where you get a free gear. It's going to be a t-shirt of my choice, and that'll be sent to you. And the color as well. It's either black, blue, it could be pink for the CEO of my life. But there's a few choices you have, and those would go to you. So hit me up at support@stopstrugglingnow.com. If you'd like to become join our WhatsApp group, then go here. Let me give you a link to the WhatsApp. I get a lot of scammers wanting to join, which is sad. Instead of, you know, they're trying to get people's information, and it's just sad, quite frankly. Real sad. Okay, here you go. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Is this it? Yep. And again, if you're interested in pre-construction in the Dominican Republic or any help, you go see an attorney, Coffee with Kelvin. If you don't have one, you probably do, because you said you did watch the channel. So you're going to have Johan Confidante, or you're going to have Glenn Me from Hachi Cuevas and Associates. Glenn Me is perfect for this job. If you went through Glenn Me, then if you need your 40% back, you'll get it back. You go see her. She'll make a phone call. You'll get your money back, especially if you just now did the down payment. If it's a little later, that is interesting. But also, if it's with Epic, I know you get your money back, because with Epic, they have things in their contract that set, well, the way they do business, I like. They have things such as when this comes up, you have a choice of getting your money back or dealing with the extension or the delay. That's what they did when they sent people stuff saying 18% increase in price. And they gave people a choice. They said either you can do this or we'll give you a refund. I'm assuming they still would do that. So that's the good news about that. Yeah, just to consider. Yeah, that's number one. All right. So I was going to go do something. I can't remember what I was doing. Let's see here. I know what it was. It was something. It was my own little thing I was doing. It wasn't even nothing with you guys. Coffee. Let me see if I can find Coffee with Kelvin. Coffee with Kelvin. Okay, it's not. I can't tell by this. Let me go look. The image was different. Nope, I don't think I met Kelvin. There's another guy that looks close to what he looks like. So pretty cool. All right. Well, all I can say is congratulations. Let me see if he put anything down on his channel. Let's see. Most worst. Didn't put anything on his channel. So wait, maybe there's a short. Showing the love for his project that he bought at. No. Damn. Okay, I can't glean anything from his social media. He didn't make any announcement, so we don't know what project it is. I really wish I knew, because then that's information I can share with people. Okay, I see him with Ebony Ladies. Cool. Let me see, though. So let me see. Maybe this will tell me he bought something. You guys can't see it. I can see it. Put a card here. Oh, no, that was a while ago. So, no, that won't help either. Come on, Kelvin. Give me the info, man. All right. Well, we're going to have to wait till Monday then. But if Kelvin comes back, this would be helpful to let us know which project said that they're going to delay for 12 months. So then I can put the word out. because some people don't receive information. Like I don't receive information on a lot of projects that I own at one of, obviously. Well, I don't know what my status is. As far as I know, they haven't sent me a revocation. They haven't sent me a, we're going to keep 15% and give you your money back. It's just like nothing. No correspondence whatsoever. And I met these guys, the CEO, the right-hand man, the communications directors, the German, as I call them, all these guys that are in the corporate office, you know, drinks, eat, be merry. And then when I say, hey, man, you guys are BSing. And now all of a sudden, oh, yeah, we got your little bit of money. We're going to keep it or whatever. I guess sue us, bro, is probably the situation. But, you know, it's crazy what we got to deal with on the island. The island is not going to get any better with this situation. It's bad. It's very bad. This Haitian situation, if Haitians really are that many employed on the island for the tourism industry or pre-construction, taking 200, 100,000, 10,000 out of the workplace, these projects are DOA, dead on arrival. And now you have people who put down 20%, 40% during delivery. And can you imagine having 40 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand that's locked, and then they get a letter to you saying we're going to extend the delivery date 12 months. And you're sitting there watching all of the beautiful green of the stock market going up. And you're sitting there like, oh my God, I'm missing out on 35 grand just in the last 5 months. Let's see where this baby rides to. Can you imagine? You're sitting there watching stuff saying, man, I'm losing out on like 40 grand. I could have, oh my God. And I could be having dividends every week. And we're talking about like $250, $300 per week. If I'd have used $10,000 of that 100 grand, $1,000 a month. And if I'd have used more than that, it could be more. That's crazy when you start thinking about it. And that locked up money starts meaning a different way, because now you're like 1 year of lockup and you're sitting there like that 100 grand could have been 160, 170. And then you're thinking, oh, I don't need the condo if I'm doing this. I was only getting it for short-term rental. Can I really make 40, 50, 60K in clear profit annually? I don't think so. So there we go. I mean, that's where it starts going for me. I'm like, I could use this 17 grand or 18 or 20 grand, because then I just go to UMAX ETFs and buy 1,000 shares of probably it would be YMAX. So that's what I would do. And then this way we have, like I said, I don't know what the dividends were. I didn't even look it up. Whether it's 25 cents or 23 cents, it doesn't really matter. You got 1,000 shares. So that's $230, right? Per week, $1,000 per month. I can live with that on any investment. 20,000, 10,000, 14,000, 15,000. Let me go look, man. Let's see what YMAX is. YMAX, $17.61. That's what it is. But you know, it is what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up. We've been here for a while. I'm going to get my nice hot water, go to sleep, find out what's going on with my camera, because this looks like a purple shirt when it's really blue. My camera colors are way off. That means something happened. It looks like I have something else going on with the camera, but it's okay. We're still going to make it happen. All right. But, yep, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. Make sure you smash the like buttons on the way out. Make sure you smash the follow buttons no matter where you are. And make sure on Instagram you follow, please. We're trying to get to 920 and above. because I want to see if they take us back down to 914 and keep us in that range. And I don't know what the special occasion is, why it happens, but it keeps happening. All right. I'll see everybody out here on Monday night at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll have another subject matter, but that's the SSN Nation Money Making Monday live stream. So make sure you smash the like buttons on the way out, the follow buttons, the subscribe buttons. If you like, become a member of the channel, please become a member of the channel. That's a money situation there. It's not free like the subscribe button. And if you do hit the subscribe, the follows and all that, make sure you click the all notification bells. Make sure you share the videos. I can keep going on. And make sure you go to Beachfront Java and order some coffee from our own Professor Auntie Val and use the promo code SSN Lifestyle, all caps. And with all that said, make sure you stay safe out here, because that's just the way it is. You got to stay safe, and you got to say, please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And I know it's hard out here, especially if you're in that Hurricane Alley. Like, it's almost like there's a Hurricane Alley on the lower southeastern border right now, besides the Kansas, the Oklahomas, and all that. Arkansas, which has their little situations. So once again, be safe out here. A lot of people are going to be under stress, under duress. So you have to keep a level head. A lot of people may do things that make no sense, but you got to keep a level head, go on about your business, and don't deal with individuals that are upset. And with all that said, see you on Monday. Have a nice weekend. I love you guys very much. I appreciate your support over all these years. But make sure you keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.